Alright. So, start na tayo. So, module 6 na tayo. Malapit na, no? Malapit na tayo matapos actually sa mga discussions, no? Malapit na. So, actually, before we get started, just a reminder, guys, no? Next meeting, next meeting is a face-to-face, no? Again, guys, it is going to be our midterms, no? So, for next meeting, midterms tayo and mostly lab time lang tayo, no? So, again, recap lang natin yung sa midterms. Sa midterms natin, like I said, guys, no, it's just a pitch of what you want to do sa finals nyo, no? So dapat by this time na may nasisimulan na kayo sa paggawa nyo ng pitch nyo, no, on what you want to do sa finals nyo. Don't worry, guys. Kung marami kayong mga over ambitious na design sa sa ipipitch nyo, that's okay lang rin, no? I'll do my best to help you all. Lahat kayo matutulungan ko kayo, no? Kahit tapos na yung discussions natin, tutulungan ko kayo basta magtanong lang kayo sa akin, no? Huwag kayong matakot magtanong. Ganyan na ginagawa ko palagi sa finals, no? Actually, ginagawa ko after lahat ng mga discussion is over and done with, I hold mga extra classes, no? Kasi after ng discussions natin, mostly guys, puro asynchronous na tayo doon. I'm just gonna let you do your finals, no? After lahat matapos na yung discussions and activities, puro finals production na kayo noon. And then, yun nga, no? Since asynchronous siya, I can still hold yung mga Zoom na Zoom meetings. Actually, hindi na pala sa Zoom, no? For consultations regarding sa finals, dito na tayo sa ating sa Discord, no? So, meron na akong specific na voice channel dito. Daan lang kayo, no? Dito sa voice channels. Oops. So, dito lang 'yan, no? So, there, pindutin niyo lang 'to and then 'yon, join lang kayo sa akin, tutulungan ko kayo, no? Also, do take note lang, yung consultations natin will not be recorded anymore, no? So, yeah. Do take notes kapag consultations, no? So, again, kapag finals production na tayo, guys, lahat ng mga online meetings natin will be here sa Discord na lang, no? No more sa Zoom. Dito na lang tayo sa Discord, mas mabilis, no? And like I said, mas mabilis niyo ako mako-contact. Okay? So, knowing all of that, simulan na tayo, no? Simulan na tayo sa discussion. So, module 6, texturing 1 and rendering, no? So, okay, so two-parter tayo, no? So, we will be diving in, of course, the second most important na kailangan yung malaman in regards sa paggawa ng mga 3D images. Rendering and of course, texturing, no? Siguro rendering at this point in time, ilang beses ko na siyang nababanggit. Dito natin malalaman ngayon kung ano ba talaga yung rendering na yan. Tsaka itong texturing na to, no? So dito natin malalaman ngayon yan, no? So our topics for today, yan, we have our usual shtick, no? So cheat sheet, terms to remember, texturing and rendering with Arnold. Right. Sa Big Sky, this is already live there. So kung gusto niyo buksan, sure, why not, no? So this one's for 3ds Max. So sa 3ds Max, rendering with Arnold tayo. As for Blender, we will be rendering with cycles, no? So we will be going on the setup, how to save our render image, and of course, how we stage our scene, no? Next is, of course, adding lights and cameras. And of course, lastly, basic texture mapping. Bibigyan natin ng texture yung mga models natin. And then, of course, last but not the least, activity 6, which we will discuss later, no? Okay? So, cheat sheet of the week, wala tayong masyadong any new stuff, no? Sa 3ds Max, ito lang, no? So, this will be your cheat sheet. Ito lang, kakunti lang, no? So, yan. And then, as for Blender, ayan din. Kakunti lang rin, no? So, tig-apat lang, no? Tig-apat, 5 sa 3ds Max, 4 sa Blender, no? Alright. So, our terms to remember for today, what is 3D rendering? What is a render engine? What are textures? What are UV maps? And what the hell is a shader graph? No? So yan ang mga terms to remember natin ngayon. So, discuss natin texturing and rendering. Although not all 3D artists need to render their works in a professional workplace like 3D artists in a game development team, it is still a good skill to have when you make your assets to know if there would be any issues to how light affects the model, as well as how shadows are created using your model. Texturing, on the other hand, is a required skill for all 3D artists. No? By knowing how to edit and add textures to your model, you bring life and color to your assets as well as your scene. Think of it as applying color to your line art, where the line art is your model and the color is the texture. No? So yan ang basic concept natin ng texturing, and then of course, yung 3D rendering natin, no? So, okay. So when it comes to 3D rendering, no. So 3ds Max and Blender will be using a render engine, no. So ano ba yung render engine na yon? As the name suggests, it is an engine or a part of a software that renders 3D images, no. Now sa 3ds Max, we have the render engine called Arnold. Actually, sa 3ds Max marami siyang render engine, but we are using multiple but we are only going to use Arnold, no, kasi yun ang pinaka powerful sa lahat ng yon, no. So rendering with Arnold, now may reason yan bakit nandiyan si Arnold Schwarzenegger, no. Mamaya may interesting fact tayo dyan later, no. So discuss natin ang 3D rendering muna further, no. So 3D rendering is a form of virtual photography using 3D space. No, it is a computer graphics process that involves various 3D data such as the environment, the assets or the models, as well as lighting and any sort of visual effects applied to the scene. Now, 3D render outputs are called as CGI, no? Or at least it is a part of CGI in today's media, and has evolved many times throughout the years, mainly in the movie and animation industry. No, mainly yung mga big CGI leaps natin in the current in the last decade was definitely number one, Avatar. No, aside from Avatar, we also have the Jungle Book. No, aside from the Jungle Book, then we also have the Lion King. No, mostly lahat ng mga naging mga CGI marvels natin, lahat ng halos na improve nun halos is either si Marvel or si James Cameron. No? Sadly si James Cameron, kakaunti lang naman nagawa niya aside from Avatar. But definitely sa kanya yung pinaka nagkaroon ng major leap in terms of what we can do with 3D renders or CGI sa movie industry. No? As of today, render engines varies from software to software. Hindi yan pare-pareho sa lahat ng software, no? And sometimes even used in certain situations or depending on what you need for a project. Because using multiple render engines, manonotice nyo, lalo na if you're going to be using both 3ds Max and Blender for today, no? Manonotice nyo, there is a large gap in terms of quality sa when you're going to be using different render engines, no? Different yung magiging output mo sa Arnold, different yung magiging output mo sa Cycles. Bakit? No, mamaya di-discuss natin yan later once we are setting up our render engine, no, and basically comparing the two na. So next na tayo. Next natin is ito pala, may konting clip lang ako dito guys to basically share to you yung evolutions natin, no, that change CGI the last decade, no. So let's just watch this one. This is a 12-minute video, so yeah.
From 2010 to 2019, technology changed in major ways, which had a huge impact on the movies we watched. From realistic environments to convincing fake animals to aging and de-aging actors and even doubling them, it almost felt like there was nothing CGI couldn't do. Let's take a look at some CGI from the past decade that took movies to the next level. Who would have thought that a biopic about Facebook co-founder Mark Zuckerberg could also be a CGI marvel? Armie Hammer played twins Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss.
I'm 6'5", 220, and there's two of me.
Actors playing double is nothing new. Typically, When an actor plays two characters that interact, filmmakers use techniques like split screens and over-the-shoulder shots, which this movie certainly used. Just look at this shot, where the twins are walking together but we don't see either of their heads. That's because the movie used two different actors. Actor Josh Pence served as Armie Hammer's body double. Hammer's face was then grafted onto Pence's body in post-production. The two would switch off who would be Cameron and who would be Tyler from scene to scene. Face replacement didn't start with The Social Network, but this movie was, at the time, the first truly convincing version of this technology, especially since it was a movie with no sci-fi elements. Armie Hammer wasn't the celebrity he is today, and for a while, people actually thought he was two different people. These techniques paved the way for an entire movie about doubles in the form of Us, and for Chris Evans to fight himself in Avengers Endgame. This feat also involved face replacement from Lola Visual Effects, which took what it learned on The Social Network and applied it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Prior to his transformation into Captain America, Steve Rogers is small and scrawny, nothing like actor Chris Evans. For some shots, actor Leander Dini doubled as the skinny Steve Rogers. For others, the VFX team replaced Dini's entire head with Evans' head. Evans would shoot the scene looking like himself. Dini would watch Evans perform the scene and precisely mimic his every move. The crew would shoot a clean plate with no character at all. Then, VFX artists would place Evans' face over Dini's. But for most of these scenes, the VFX team digitally shrunk Evans down. For this, Lola Visual Effects invented a new method for shrinking, which it called Steve Slimming. Lola Visual Effects artists said they learned a lot from this experience, like how to highlight an actor's performance without letting CGI get in the way. That's a lesson they applied when de-aging Samuel Jackson in Captain Marvel. Chris Evans wasn't the only Marvel hero who went through a CGI transformation. Captain America: Civil War featured a de-aged Robert Downey Jr. as young Tony Stark. Lola Visual Effects once again stepped in here. Some cases of de-aging involve a body double, and others involve replacing the actor with a digital double. However, new technology allowed Downey to perform the scene normally as himself. VFX artists used digital compositing to de-age the actor. This way, Downey could still perform the scene as usual, and the VFX team wouldn't lose the actor's many nuances, which is a technological achievement that helped 3 years later in The Irishman, which we'll get to in a bit. De-aging has become an essential process. Changes can be as big as lifting skin and as subtle as increasing light reflecting off skin. One of the biggest challenges of de-aging a well-known star is that audiences are familiar with how they looked when they were younger, especially with an actor like Downey, who has been in movies since he was a child. So the VFX team analyzed old footage of him in 1987's Less Than Zero, which helps explain why this young version of Tony Stark was so convincing. De-aging was not invented in this decade. An early use came in 2006's X-Men: The Last Stand. But looking at the results from that decade to this one, you can see just how much better it's gotten. Technology can both de-age and age an actor. Haley Atwell was aged up for a pivotal scene where she plays a much older Peggy Carter. Once again, thank Lola Visual Effects for this transformation. Every movie is just an excuse for visual effects artists to build on the visual effects work done before and get better. In an interview, Lola VFX artists said they believed they spent so much time perfecting Carter's neck that they didn't spend nearly enough time on her face. 5 years later, Captain America would finally get to act his age in Avengers Endgame, as Chris Evans was aged up using a mix of CGI, makeup, and a body double. But this time, Evans wore neck prosthetics so the VFX artist could spend even more time perfecting his older face.
Okay, let me just pause for a second here, no? So currently, yung mga current examples natin, yung first four na movies natin that changed CGI the last decade, no? In The Social Network, Captain America the First Avenger, Civil War, and of course yung The Winter Soldier. Now, itong first four natin dito is actually CGI that didn't use 3D at all, no? So, pwede natin masabi siguro that they possibly used dito sa First Avenger natin with the whole yung body double ni Chris Evans, no? Yung tawag doon, yung meron siyang scrawny na actor na hindi naman si Chris Evans, no? Tapos pinalitan nila yung mukha niya pinalitan niya yung mukha niya with the face of Chris Evans, no? Now, here, dito, starting from the first Avenger hanggang dito kay Civil War, yes, sinabi nila na digital body double yung ginamit nila. Pero yung digital body double na yun is actually AI generated, no? So, currently, we have current softwares, no, or current AI that makes use of past images, no, to make quote-unquote deep fakes, no? Sino nakakaalam ng deep fake, no? So deep fake is basically having your face change to whoever you want it to be, no? Let's say kung gusto mong maging actor niyan, gusto mong kamukha ni Robert Downey, feed mo lang yung AI ng mga pictures ni Robert Downey and it will generate that deep fake for you sa mukha mo, no, using your camera or whatever. So yun sa case ni Marvel, ganun din yung ginawa nila. Now, except lang konti dito sa Civil War. Kasi dito sa Civil War, starting from Marvel movies since 2015 and above, doon na sila nagkaroon ng heavy reliance talaga sa mga 3D generated CGI. Specifically, itong likeness ni young Robert Downey. Now, dito is also a mix of AI generated and CGI, no? So, yung AI generated dito is actually yung mukha ni Robert Downey kasi when it comes to recreating human likeness sa 3D, yan ang pinakamahirap na gawin, no? Kasi if you try to replicate the human likeness of anyone, talagang hindi mo siya fully replicate talaga. Currently, there's no technology that can absolutely replicate the human likeness, no? So dito, it's a mixture of both AI generated na imagery and of course yung CGI elements natin, yung overall digital body double, which is yung mukha ni Robert Downey Jr. Yung binigay sa kanya na kulay or yung texture to basically sell yung overall likeness ni young Robert Downey Jr., yun yung AI generated. Pinoproject lang yung itsura or yung image ni young Robert Downey Jr. dito sa digital body double niya. No. Same case din dito kay yung kay Peggy Carter, no? Yung de-aging, no? Definitely, you've already encountered this in multiple movies, no, where an actor gets de-age or pinapataas yung age nila using CGI elements. Now dito sa dito sa Winter Soldier na to, 2014, this is still AI generated pa at that time, no? It's 2014 pa sa Marvel, no? So this one was AI generated, no? So finid lang nila yung mukha ni I forgot this actress name, no? So finid lang yung mukha nila diyan, tapos they let the AI generate the aging part for them, no? And then boom, they just projected it. Now, manonotice nyo, like for example, dito sa Captain America, the First Avenger, manonotice nyo, meron tayong mga green dots sa mga mukha ng actors. Yan yung indicator na binibigay sa AI kung saan dapat ilalagay ni AI yung AI generated part ng yung AI generated imagery, no? So yung mga markers na yan, yun yung usual na trackers, yung quote-unquote trackers natin, no? So same case din dito sa Winter Soldier. Now, naiba lang siya dito sa part kay Captain America, no? Yung si Chris Evans. Now, this one is actually not 3D CGI, no? This is not walang any sort of 3D elements na nangyayari dito. It still uses basic AI generated imagery and of course practical, no? So ano yung practical dito, which nabanggit na dito, no? Yung practical dito is yung binigyan siya ng actual na na mga prosthetics dito sa kanyang katawan, no? Specifically yung nasa may neck niya because remember yung sa mga reklamo ng mga dito ng mga critics dito is yung parang pag uncanny look ng leeg, no? Parang hindi siya natural looking. But when compared dito kay Chris Evans, no, much better looking na yung leeg niya, no? So yun yung ginamitan nila na ng prosthetics now. Sa prosthetics, madali natin mare-replicate talaga ang human likeness because literally, they can literally just cast someone's neck tapos edit from there, no? So, gumagawa sila ng mold or whatever, tapos yun, dun, they start from there and then they build up the prosthetic using that mold, no? Or that basic replica of the actor's certain body part, no? So, yeah. Now, starting from the next one, this one here, dito na yung start ng puro 3D CGI na tayo, no? So let's continue on with the video.
Thanks to motion capture technology, actors could show their full range of emotions while being transformed into basically any kind of creature. Mocap was honed in the 2000s in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, King Kong, and Avatar. It became commonplace in the 2010s, hitting its stride over the course of the Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy. Much of the work on all these movies was done by the famed visual effects studio Weta Digital. By the time of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, cameras were able to capture the most subtle of movements and details, which made the apes more believable. And Rise was also the first movie to ever shoot motion capture in a live-action location, as opposed to just a bare soundstage. This development would later help them to shoot in even more challenging locations, like the Vancouver rainforest in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and on beaches and in deep snow in War for the Planet of the Apes. It wasn't Andy Serkis's only big motion capture character of the 2010s. Serkis played the menacing Supreme Leader Snoke. He showed up as a hologram in The Force Awakens and then in person in The Last Jedi. According to Industrial Light and Magic creative director Ben Morris, they didn't even have the tools to make Snoke look this realistic in The Force Awakens. By the time The Last Jedi rolled around, they were able to add so many details to the skin, like age spots and veins. The visual effects team shot Serkis with high-resolution cameras positioned at every conceivable angle to create a digital clone of him. As Serkis performed, they could automatically capture every subtle facial move, from how he smiles to how he furrows his brow. They even studied the elderly to see how light would realistically hit Snoke's skin. The technology ILM developed in collaboration with Disney Research has been used to capture many actors. One of the most prominent? Josh Brolin as Thanos. Look closely and you can see every crease, every pore of the Avengers villain's skin. In the live-action Jungle Book remake, actor Neil Sethi played Mowgli and was the only human character in the film. He acted on a completely empty soundstage, besides these puppets and creature performers that would then be digitally replaced with the actual CGI characters. The biggest breakthrough in this movie? Muscle movement. MPC Film developed new software for animating an animal's muscle structure. All of MPC Film's work directly contributed to its work on 2019's The Lion King. The VFX artists perfected their already developed muscle and movement simulations. They also added more joints and bones under the skin as a way to make the characters' movements more natural. Otherwise, CGI creations run the risk of being either too bouncy or too stiff when they move. And the environments created for the Jungle Book were made in virtual production, which required virtual reality techniques, allowing filmmakers to step foot in these environments and better place their characters in them. This was also used to a more advanced degree in 2019's The Lion King. But with great CGI comes great responsibility. This Star Wars prequel brought back the Empire's sinister Grand Moff Tarkin. However, actor Peter Cushing died in 1994, so Industrial Light and Magic used CGI to bring him back to life. Another actor, Guy Henry, stood in as Cushing and did his best Tarkin impression. A mounted camera rig captured his facial movements. Then, ILM used his performance as a guide to digitally recreate Cushing. The whole process took about 18 months to complete. While Cushing's estate gave its blessing, the decision was still controversial. Should you bring back an actor from the dead? this issue isn't going anywhere. The upcoming Vietnam War-era drama Finding Jack caused an uproar with news that it cast a CGI version of long-deceased Hollywood legend James Dean. In Blade Runner 2049, the VFX wizards at MPC Film created a digital double of actress Sean Young so she could reprise her role as Rachel from the original Blade Runner. It may be the most convincing digital double yet. To create the digital Rachel, they 3D scanned Young and aged her back to how she looked in the original Blade Runner. Like with muscles and joints in the Jungle Book, the most crucial CGI here is what you don't see: the skull. To create a CGI skull, they combined the 3D scan with a life cast done of Young shortly after the original Blade Runner. Focusing on building this character's skull allowed the artist to build the character's de-aged features around it. In addition, they focused on subtleties in Young's face and even how makeup was done in the 1980s. Actress Lauren Pita doubled on set before being replaced by the de-aged Young. VFX supervisor John Nelson also said the team closely studied the character's emotions in the original Blade Runner and incorporated them into the double, helping to make real and fake almost indistinguishable. Digital doubles got so realistic that they would eventually allow Will Smith to act alongside a younger version of himself while performing both parts in 2019's Gemini Man. But creating digital doubles won't cause actors to lose their jobs. In Martin Scorsese's mobster epic, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci were de-aged to play Frank Sheeran, Jimmy Hoffa, and Russell Buffalino during various times in their lives. There was no need for the actors to wear helmets, tennis balls, or dots on their faces. The tracking marks were invisible. Scenes had to be captured with 3 cameras at once. There was one central camera. The 2 additional witness cameras were infrared, which removed all the shadows from a given shot. A new software called Flux revealed a lot more details in the actors' faces, like how their faces are shaded and the way the lighting hits them. For additional reference, the VFX team studied the cast filmography. This allowed the actors to focus on their performances, and the visual effects artists to focus on the de-aging. But there are some things CGI still can't do, like make an actor's movements look younger. So a posture coach came to the set to make sure the actors were moving appropriate to the ages for a given scene. Perhaps de-aging an actor's movements is a CGI breakthrough for the 2020s.
Okay, so those are the 10 movies that changed CGI this decade, no? So, konting recap tayo, no? So, as you can already see, no, starting from Planet of the Apes hanggang dito Star Wars Last Jedi, Jungle Book, Rogue One, and then sa Blade Runner, you'll notice that they're all 3D elements na, no? Meron na tayong puro 3D elements. Pinaka-noticeable talaga dito, no? Yung sa Planet of the Apes, no? This one right here. As you can see here, meron tayong mga actors in a sort of suit, no? So yung mga suit na suot-suot nila, those are what we call motion capture suits. And as the name suggests, they capture the motion using trackers from that suit to basically generate the animation for them in the 3D software or 3D engine na ginagamit nila. Now, dito sa case nila, this one is using Unreal na, no? So Unreal Engine yung ginagamit nila dito for this one. And as you can see, ito, specific example, this one right here, no? These 2 right here. Ito sila, no? These 2 are them, no? So they are capturing the movements that the actors are doing to basically and then mimic here dito sa 3D software nila or yung sa 3D engine nila using Unreal, no? So yun yung ginagawa ng motion capture. And then of course, dito sa part na to kay Andy Serkis, no? You'll notice nagbalik ulit yung mga trackers natin dito, no? Yung mga dots sa muka. No? But compared natin doon kay Chris Evans kanina, na this one right here, ayun, ilan lang yung green dots na yun. As itong trackers na ginamit nila dito kay Andy Serkis, dito sa part na to, yung purpose ng mga trackers naman ngayon dito is for the motion capture because as we all know, Andy Serkis did act as Caesar sa Planet of the Apes, no? So lahat ng ginagawa niya na motion sa mukha niya, nare-replicate ng digital double niya which is si Caesar, no? So like for example din dito kay King Kong, no? So yan. This one, ito si Andy Serkis yan, no?
movements and details, which made the apes more believable. And
So yung mga basic na ano na yon na facial reactions ni Caesar, si Andy Serkis ang gumagawa niyan. Lahat ng mga movements niyan, mga basic movements lang na pwedeng magawa ng actor, si Andy Serkis ang gumagawa. Same with the facial, no? Para yung mga animators ng studio na gumagawa ng CGI nila, hindi na sila madali lang yung magiging process nila when it comes to finally rendering out their CGI, no? Their CGI scenes. So, yan. There we go. Next naman natin, again, kay Andy Serkis, no? This one here, yung yung ginawa ng Disney or ni Lucasfilm dito, si Andy Serkis pa rin to. They basically captured his likeness pa rin, no? As stated kanina dun sa video. They basically scanned his all his angles in all sides to see how light affects his actual skin, and then they make that and then they basically try to replicate that sa CGI to get the desired look for Snoke, no? So yan. And then again, motion facial capture using trackers din, ganun din ang same shtick na ginagawa dito kay Andy Serkis. Lahat din siya ang nag-act niyan. Okay? Next, ito, Jungle Book. Like I said, one of the best CGI films because number one, yung kid lang talaga yung actual na actor sa set. Lahat CGI, no? Lahat they are virtually created, no? Lahat CGI sila or computer generated imagery, no? Same case with The Lion King, no? So yan. There we go. Now itong actor na to, no? They basically brought him back to life, no? Another example for this one, aside dito sa Rogue One, which is one of the controversial ones, no, is with Fast and Furious, no? Yung death ni Paul Walker. No, si Paul Walker, 'di ba, as you all know, he died in an accident, 'di ba? But he still managed to appear in the yung Fast and Furious na movie niya, no? He still appeared via using yung brother niya as the main actor, pero pinalitan yung mukha niya with a computer generated na mukha niya, which also did involve 3ds Max, no? So yan, another fun fact yun, no? So ginamitan siya ng body double, pinalitan niya yung mukha ng actor ni Paul Walker doon, and then pinalit yung mukha niya using 3D model rendered in 3ds Max, no? Using Arnold. So yon. Di lang binanggit dito, but yeah, it should be it's a fact there, no? Then of course, this one yung sa Blade Runner, etc., etc., and of course the Irishman. Now they're not that pretty relevant, no? So skip na tayo dyan. So knowing all of that, siguro meron na kayong konting grasp na on basically what CGI does, no, or what basically CGI is, no? So okay. So next na tayo. So, pag-usapan na ngayon natin yung render engine natin for 3ds Max and of course, Blender, no? So 3ds Max, like I said, gagamitin lang natin is Arnold, no? So Arnold is an advanced Monte Carlo ray tracing renderer built to stand up to the demands of VFX and animation production. As the name suggests, ray tracing si Arnold, no? So literally one of the better outputs out there, no? Well, as long as it is ray traced, it's bound to look good, no? So Arnold, it offers a powerful yet also easy to use rendering experience that delivers beautiful and predictable results and lets you focus on just being creative rather than spending hours going through the render settings, no? So pretty powerful ang Arnold ngayon and definitely one of the most used na render engines yan sa industry, no? Specifically, again, si Marvel ginagamit yan, no? So perfect example, Guardians of the Galaxy. Lahat ng CGI sa Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, lahat gawa siya sa Arnold, no? Hindi siya gawa sa 3ds Max, pero ni-render siya using Arnold. So they made use of Autodesk pa rin, no? So yan. So aside naman sa Arnold, sa Blender, we have cycles, no? So cycles. Now, notice natin sa Blender, meron tayong two options dito. Meron tayong cycles and meron tayong EV. Now, the question is, ano yung pagkakaiba ng dalawa? Now, cycles is the ray tracing equivalent natin, ano. So ray tracing din si Cycles. Now, compared nga lang natin kay kay EV, basically si EV online-based renderer siya, no. So it's not that actually effective, no. So ang process na ginagawa sa EV kasi is what we call rasterization. So ano ba yung rasterization? It basically makes use of an online server and then basically helps you load up the data faster at the cost of a bit of lower quality sa render nyo. No? Not actually, hindi naman siya actually usually lower quality. It's just, it's not ray trace level. No? So yun ang konting downside kay EV. Whereas kay Cycles, offline-based renderer naman siya. Dahil offline-based renderer siya, ibig sabihin, gagamitin niya talaga lahat ng data ng computer nyo. No? So talagang lahat ng mabibigatin na load, dadalhin niya gagamitin ni Cycles. No? Kaya yun ang nagtatagal. No? Kaya nagpapatagal din ng render natin. But again, madali naman natin masolusyonan yan. No? Madali natin mapababa ang render times natin. No? So Cycles, again, ray tracing render siya, has a similar output in terms of rendering capabilities to that of Unity and first few versions of Unreal Engine. No? So pretty na rin siya. Almost same level na siya sa mga mainstream na softwares that makes use of CGI that makes use ng mga visual effects studio to make their CGI. No? So on that same level na rin siya halos. No? So okay, knowing all of that, ubos na yung mga natin, lahat ng kailangan nating pag-usapan, no? So, setup na tayo, no? So, madali lang naman yung setup natin for both. Actually, mas madali si Blender kasi literally ilang button clicks lang tayo, no? Pero kay 3ds Max, madali lang rin din naman. Just a bit tedious din, no? So, unahin na muna natin si 3ds Max, no? So, 3ds Max. Of course, we have our scene, ano. So let's gawa lang ako ng simple scene, ano. Mabilis lang. Gawa lang ako ng scene. Literally, I'm just gonna make the same thing na dun sa Blender natin, default na cube natin. I'm going just to make that. Okay, center out ko lang to. Okay. So, to start rendering natin, to basically set up our render engine sa 3ds Max, ang kailangan lang natin gawin dito is we need to open our render settings. Now, how do we open our render settings? Now, we have two choices here. Actually, three pala, no? We have three choices. Our first choice here is to naglag na ako. Okay. So, our first choice is here. Clicking dito sa toolbar natin dito sa taas na to, and then click lang natin tong keypad na may gear, no? It says here on hover, render setup. Pwede natin i-click yan, and then mag-open na yung render settings natin, which is when it's loading. Okay. So yan, this is our render settings, no? So that is our first choice, no? Our second choice is we press the shortcut F10. F10. No? So yan, nag-open din yung render settings natin, no? And then our last choice, which is the most tedious one, is dito sa menu natin dito, menu bar natin, click natin tong rendering. Click natin yung rendering, it opens up this pop-up, and then click lang natin tong render setup, no? So it's up to you kung anong gusto nyong gamitin na shortcut for that. Ako personally, F10 pwede na yan, mas mabilis. Remember the shortcut, no? Madaling matandaan yung shortcut is just F10. Now, if this is your first time, opening this window, usually ang ma-encounter nyo dito is si scanline renderer. Now, to change that, kailangan natin ng Arnold, di ba? So, kasi Arnold gagamitin natin. So, select nyo lang itong drop-down natin dito, itong Arnold na to. Click lang natin yung drop-down and then select lang natin si Arnold, no? Tapos, under Common, dito sa Common tab natin dito, scroll down tayo pababa and then also make sure natin dito na nakalagay sa Assign Renderer natin is also Arnold. Kasi sometimes, usually, baka mag-bug out yung software nyo, nag-change yung render nyo dito from scanline to Arnold, pero hindi nyo napansin dito sa Assign Renderer, scanline pa rin siya. No? So, you're gonna have to double check. Kapag Arnold, make sure Arnold. No? Kapag scanline, scanline lang. But, like I said, we are just going to be using Arnold. Okay? So, yan. Nakaset up na yung Arnold natin. Now, actually we're already good to go na. Pwede na tayo mag-render, pwede na nating i-render to eh. But a couple of things that we should take note first, no? Number one is yung output size natin kasi that's pretty much the important part when it comes to rendering. Yung output size natin or yung dimensions ng ating magiging rendered image. Now, currently, nakaset na kasi yung default ko to HDTV. So, ang may encounter nyo for sure dito is dito under custom. No? Under dito sa custom, ang default na width and height natin dito is 640 by 480. No? So, this one is the lowest possible na lowest possible na viable na dimensions ng ating output when it comes to rendering. No? And personally, if you're going to be rendering lang yung mga mga practice render or you're basically just testing out yung you're just testing out the render, stick muna kayo dito sa 640 by 480. Bakit? Kasi output size also affects the time kung gaano katagal yung pag-render nyo. Kapag higher quality kayo, like let's say dito sa HDTV, sinet nyo siya to 1920 by 1080 or 2K or 4K texture, talagang magtatagal yung render nyo. Bakit? Kasi the higher the output size you have, the more pixels that you are basically rendering. Or basically, the more pixels that you are telling the render engine to show to you. No? Dahil more pixels, more data yon. So more pixels equals more data. And more data equals to longer render time. No? So we don't want that, lalo na kapag we're just, testing out yung lighting lang natin, We don't want that. We just want a quick render. So if you are just going to be using quick renders, stick to custom muna and then stick with 640 by 480. That should suffice for the time being while you are just testing out your render settings or your lighting when it comes to your 3D scene. Stick to the lowest amount first. And then, once you're completely satisfied with your scene, saka nyo na siya ilagay dun sa preferred nyo na aspect ratio or our output size like 720 or 1080, 4K, 2K, kayo na bahala, Basta yun na yung magiging final nyo kasi you're basically going to be doing the waiting game na if kapag ginawa mo na yun, So that's it for output size. Now, meron pa tayong isa pang kailangan gawin din, but I think later na natin yan once we are dealing with lighting na, So later na natin yan. But for now, output size, there we go. Nandito rin siya sa render settings, So there we go, output size. And then stick muna tayo to custom, 640 by 480. Now, try na natin siyang i-render, To render this, we have two options once again, But we are going to be using the most preferred option dito, which is making use of Arnold's render view. But for now, sige, ituro ko na yung two choices nyo. So first choice natin is dito. Literally, it's in the same it's in the same window. Click nyo lang tong render, So click lang natin yung render. And then yan, mag-open tong pop-up window natin dito. And then it basically renders your scene for you, or kung saan nakaharap tong kung saan nakaharap tong camera nyo dito sa viewport, kung saan nakaharap kayo sa viewport, yun yung i-render niya, Ang pwede nyo rin gawin is we can add a camera, which we will dive in later, So this is your first choice. You just click on render, you're good to go, Click lang natin X. So natin yan? Click lang natin itong X. And then let's go with the most preferred option natin or the most preferred choice when it comes to rendering with Arnold, So to do that, punta tayo ulit dito sa menu bar natin, Sa menu bar ulit tayo, click lang natin tong si Arnold, click natin yan, and then click natin tong Arnold render view. Mag-open up tong pop-up natin dito. And then to basically start rendering our scene, click lang natin tong play, Click lang natin tong play button. So yan. Ayan, nag-render na siya, So yun. That is your first ever render if you decide to follow along with me, Now, bakit ito yung pinipili ko na choice for 3ds Max instead dito kay kay render settings? Now, kasi if you try to do this one, itong choice natin dito, notice nyo kapag every time I render, mag-open tong pop-up natin dito, Kasi kapag nag-pop up 'yon, and lalo na if you're rendering na if you're basically rendering na your full resolution na, wala kayong magagawa. As in, lahat frozen, wala kayong lahat magagawa, no? So, dahil wala kayong magagawa, siyempre may tendency din tayo minsan na magki-click-click tayo, no? Bigla tayong magki-click, no? So, while you are rendering, baka may tendency tayo na while your scene is rendering, and then click kayo ng click anywhere dito, baka mag-crash yung software nyo. Because like I said, 3ds Max is very heavy duty when it comes to rendering, no? So, do be careful if you're going to be using this. That's okay lang rin naman, but preferably guys, I would have you use this one, itong Arnold render view natin, no? Because like I said, since itong Arnold render view natin, it is a separate operation na mismo, no? Kasi it has its own window, and then meron siyang play button na we can easily start and then pause, no? So literally napaka useful nitong Arnold render view natin, no? And also mabilis din natin masasave compared natin dito kay 3ds Max na dito sa render settings, i-click pa natin tong save file natin dito and then we render. Wala tayong any sort of option to save this one. Now ito, pwede naman natin dito save image, pero ang pangit dito sa part natin dito is yung isa-save niya ng image dito, it will always be a PNG, no? So it's not that good, no? So dito sa part natin dito, it's much better to make use of this Arnold render view, no? So stick tayo with this one. All right. So 3ds Max users, do we have any questions so far regarding this? And currently 640 by 480 yan. Mabilis yung natin, mabilis yung render kasi napakababa lang ng resolution natin, no? It barely took like less than a second, no? So any questions, 3ds Max users? 3ds Max users? Any questions? Wala. I'm guessing silence means no, no? All right. So, no questions, no? So, exit out natin yan. Punta ngayon tayo kay Blender, no? So, dito kay Blender. Okay. So, si Blender, again, napakadali lang rin kay Blender, no? So we have here our scene, no? It's literally just the same shtick as we have here. Cube lang siya. So, to set up our render engine, first, dito sa properties editor natin, i-click natin tong camera na icon natin dito. Itong parang DSLR na camera icon, no? And then on hover, it says here, render properties, no? Select natin 'yan. Okay. So currently, ang render engine na default na ginagamit ni Blender is CEV. But like I said, we are going to be using cycles, no? So click lang natin 'to, in drop down, and then cycles. Now, another important part here, if your computer is running with the GPU, then that's good, no? Since dito sa natin, segue tayo dito sa basically try to minimize yung time ng render times natin, no? Is making use of your GPU sa computer nyo. Now, dito sa Blender, madali natin masaswitch yan dito, no? So, device lang natin, since nakaswitch na tayo to cycles, may option tayo to use our GPU. Pero notice nyo, dito sa EV, wala tayong ganun, no? Because, like I said, si EV, online-based rendering siya. Hindi siya gumagamit ng, ng GPU natin. CPU lang siya, no? So, dito tayo kay cycles, no? Para may choice tayo to make use of a GPU, no? Kung may 3090 kayo, well, yun, good. Kayo na may 3090, no? So, pwede nyo magamit siya. Now, another thing to also minimize yung render times natin, no? So dito sa natin, sa first tab natin, automatic siya mag-open once you switch over to cycles. Itong sampling natin. Now we have here dito sa viewport and then dito sa render. Now sa 3ds Max meron din ganito, kaso wala siya sa viewport. Dito lang sa render natin. Which is also another segue to basically how to minimize our render times, no? So dito sa natin kay Blender, guys, this is pretty important. Baka dito kayo palaging malimutan. Itong render natin, itong sampling ng renders nyo, hindi nyo kailangan ng ganito kataas. Hindi nyo magagamit yan, no? Usually, ang range na na magagamit nyo dito is around 50 until to 250. Yan lang yung range na na magagamit nyo na kailangan nyo talaga. So 50 to 250, doon lang kayo mag-play around at that range. I promise you guys, malinis na yung magiging render nyo. No? So for time being, stick tayo to 50 kasi it is literally kakunti lang yung natin, no? Yung nasa scene natin, which is basically just a cube, no? Also, dito rin din sa viewport natin because I'll be showing you later then how we can already view the rendered version of our scene just using our viewport. So dito sa viewport natin, mas babaan naman natin ngayon. Lagay natin to 20, no? And then of course, turn on din natin tong si denoise. Yan, si denoise. So make sure on tong dalawa na to, no? Both for viewport and for render. Because later on, lalo-lalo na dito sa 3ds Max, when we start rendering our scene, may masasabi ko sa inyo kung ano yung noise, no? Now dito kay Blender, wala tayong magiging problem kay Blender. Always, I guarantee you guys, magiging sobrang linis ang ang magiging renders nyo, no? Because sa 3ds Max, wala tayong ganon whatsoever, no? So dito kay Blender, we have denoise, no? All right? So there we go. Naka-set up na yung render engine natin. We're basically good to go. But wait, kasi dito sa 3ds Max, tinuro ko rin sa inyo how to do yung output size, no? So to do that, dito lang sa baba natin, no? Dito sa baba, itong printer icon naman na to, no? Itong printer icon, or it says here, output properties natin. So click lang natin yon, and then dito na. Andito na siya, no? Yung resolution nyo, itong output natin. Now, sadly nga lang, dito sa dito sa sa format natin, wala tayong ng 640 by 480. We have to manually type it ourselves, no? Lowest possible natin 'yan. No? So 640 by 480. Yan. Now, pwede rin natin i-click to because like 3ds Max, meron tayong mga templates na already with the suggested na mga resolution sizes, no? Dito sa Blender, meron din, no? Click lang natin to, ito format presets, no? Ayan, meron tayo diyan. Yan. So pwede kayo mag 4K, pwede kayo mag HD TV, no? 720, 1080, etc., etc., no? But let's stick with 640 by 480 for now kasi hindi naman natin kailangan muna ng sobrang high quality na render. Actually, pwede rin naman kayo mag-stick na rin to 1920 by 1080 because later, pwede natin i-check yan later on, no? Dito sa viewport lang natin. But for demo purposes, try lang natin i-render to, no? So stick muna tayo sa 640 by 480, no? Now, ito yung clear difference dito kay Blender and 3ds Max because dito sa 3ds Max, dito sa viewport pa lang natin, we can already render it, no? We can already render kung ano yung nakikita dito sa viewport, no? So as you notice here, as I'm moving my viewport, yun yung nire-render niya. Now, kay Blender, ang downside kay Blender, we can't do that, no? Because when we try to render this, may iba yung magiging output natin, no? So notice this, tandaan niyo yung itsura ng ko dito, ng viewport ko. Let's try to render that by pressing F12, no? So F12 bago open up tong Blender render na window natin, and then yan. Currently, notice nyo, no? Sure, masasabi nyo similar siya, but it's actually not, no? As you can notice here, no? Mas prominent yung side natin dito compared natin dito. Now, bakit nagkakaganon? So try natin i-move, no? Try lang natin i-move. So let's say ganyan yan, no? So, para manotice nyo. And then I go back to F12 again. Ganun pa rin ang itsura niya, no? So, bakit ganon? No? Bakit ganon ang render ni Blender? That's because when you're going to be rendering with Blender, always kailangan natin gamitin si camera, no? That's why we have here. Meron tayong default camera na kagad, no? So yan, camera, no? Now, but let's say wala tayong camera, no? Wala tayong camera sa scene natin, no? Na dinelete natin, no? So to add a camera, napakadali lang yan. Open ko lang ang screencast ko. Okay. All right. So to get a camera, press lang natin Shift A, and then because you can see already here, ito camera. And there we go. And then just like any other object, magi-spawn siya kung nasaan si 3D cursor, no? So yan, nandito na yung camera natin. Now, ang kailangan na lang natin gawin is itapat natin siya to whatever angle we want, no? Now, paano natin i-view yung nating camera natin? Siyempre, since we have a camera here, dapat may option tayo to basically view it in the perspective of the camera. Now, to do that, we can easily click this one. Itong toggle natin dito, itong camera icon natin dito, or yung shortcut natin for this one is 0 sa numpad. No? Ayan, numpad 0. So yan, mapupunta tayo dito sa camera view. No? So manonotice nyo, dun siya nakatapat, and then when I press numpad 0, dun siya nakatapat. No? Now, ang tanong natin, paano natin siya i-move ngayon? Because when you try to move it, no? When you try to move it like orbit like that, na-exit out tayo sa camera. No? So, balik ulit tayo dito. So, the solution for that is we go dito sa natin. Quick properties editor natin. Quick properties editor natin by pressing N. No? So, press lang natin yung N. And there we go. Now, pupunta ngayon tayo dito sa view. No? Huwag niyo pansinin yung mga ibang tab dyan. For sure, guys, wala kayo niyan. No? Kasi may mga add-ons ako. Pero nandito lang yan. No? So, click lang natin to dito si view. And then dito sa view natin, we have here, dito sa view lock. No? Dito sa under ng view lock, meron tayong two choices dito. Itong lock natin, itong lock to 3D cursor, and then lock to camera to view. No? So, kiklik lang natin yan. Okay? So, when that happens, see what happens when I try to orbit now. Nagpa-follow along na si camera. No? So, yan ang process natin when we're trying to angle our camera. That way, any sort of movement that we do in 3D space, while this one is active and habang naka-camera view kayo, always sasama siya sa'yo. No? So, let's do this one. Let's say natin, ganyan siya. And then, let's try to render it once again. Ayan, there we go. Nandun na siya. No? Na-follow along niya yung itong camera natin. No? So, yun lang yung only choice sadly natin. No? Wala tayong option kagaya kay Blender kagaya 3ds Max na we can easily render yung itong viewport natin to basically render that out. No? Dito kay Blender, kailangan natin ng camera palagi when we're going to be rendering. Okay? Questions so far, guys? Questions so far? Blender users? Any questions?
Sir, question po.
Yes? Yes, any question?
Right, you said we have to use the number pad 0 to switch it. What if our keyboard doesn't have that?
So, dito, saselect nyo tong si camera, and then i-click nyo itong camera icon natin dito. Ito, right here. This one right here. Itong old school na camera na itsura. No? So, click nyo lang siya. Ayan, no? It says here, on hover then, toggle the camera view or shortcut is numpad 0. Click lang natin yan. And there we go. Okay?
Okay, thank you po.
All right. Any questions? Any questions left? Any other questions? No? Okay. So, none so far, no? So, now, currently, dito sa Blender, no? So, we left here, no? We left here dito sa camera natin, no? So, there we go. We have 0, 0. Now, I forgot na lang siguro, no? Once you're, like, let's say, you're finally done with your angle. Let's say, finalize na yung angle ng camera mo. Don't forget to turn off na lang to, no? Itong camera to view para just in case na natin, hindi natin siya magagalaw basta-basta, no? Also, what we also can do is click lang natin tong si camera, and then dito natin sa item, no? Dito sa item natin, dito pa rin sa quick properties editor natin, i-lock out natin lahat, no? So, lock out natin sila lahat para hindi natin siya magalaw na whatsoever, no? Hindi na natin siya magagalaw kahit kailan, no? So, ayan, no? I'm trying to move it, pero hindi na siya gumagalaw because I locked everything, no? So, but when I try to unlock it, ayan, nagagalaw ko na siya. So, make sure to lock it para hindi na natin siya magagalaw whatsoever, lalong-lalo na if that will be your final angle, no? Okay? So, don't worry guys, babalikan pa natin to mamaya ulit. No? Babalikan ulit natin yan because meron pa tayong konting features pa na magagawa sa mga cameras natin. No? So, okay? So, knowing all of that, balik na tayo dito. No? So, ang next natin is how do we save our render images, no? So, saving na tayo ng render image natin. So, dito sa natin, sa ating software, no? Balik tayo dito, Arnold tayo, Arnold render view, and then press natin to, play, no? So let's say, yan na yung final render natin. That is our quote-unquote final render na natin. No? So let's say, yan na yun, no? So dito sa Arnold render view natin, to basically save this image of ours, no? So click lang natin tong si file, dito si file, and then click lang natin to, save image, no? Save image, and then save nyo lang siya, whatever. But do take note lang, ito, no? Itong sa save as type natin. Wala tayong any options dito, but it already says here, ito yung mga available na options na pwede nyong gamitin, no? So I'm just going to, let's say, type in, I don't know, test 3ds, and then make sure lang natin na JPEG natin siya. Bakit JPEG ang gagawin ko ngayon? No? Pwede naman natin PNG. Pero ang problem kasi natin dito, if we try to save this as a PNG, ang magiging output natin dito is a transparent. No? So I'm going to be showcasing it dito. So save natin as PNG, and then save din natin siya as a JPEG. No? JPEG. Just type it in lang. No? Ta-type in nyo lang siya, and then save lang natin. Okay? Then minimize ko lang to. Pakita ko sa inyo yung difference. No? As you can see, already right there, no? No? So ito yung PNG natin. Dahil black yung background natin, transparent yung yung background, no? Kasi black yung background natin. But when compare natin kay JPEG, nasama pa rin yung black background natin, no? So that's the clear difference of the two. And later on sa natin, mamaya sa natin. Actually, sige, siguro baka matry natin mamaya, no? Sige, mamaya. Okay? So yan ang clear difference between the two, between a JPEG and a PNG. Now, sa Blender, wala namang ganyang kaartehan, ano? So, back out na tayo dyan. Ipat natin siya dito. And then punta tayo kay Blender. Now, before we do that, again, recap. So, dito sa Arnold render view, click lang natin file, and then save image, and then ilagay nyo siya kung saan siya gustong ilagay, and make sure itong file nyo, it's what it is, no? Kung either JPEG or PNG. Kung gusto nyo makita yung background nyo, pero problema, yung background nyo is color black, ilagay nyo sa JPEG. Pero kung transparent yung magiging nyo, tapos background nyo is color black, like once again, lagay nyo sa PNG. No? Usually guys, ang magiging naman natin dito, magiging render siya for this one is definitely going to be PNG. No? So don't worry, no? Puro PNG tayo. No? Alright? So, X natin yan. Move on tayo kay Blender, no? Move on tayo kay Blender. So, dito kay Blender, no? So, again, render out natin, press F12. Let's say, yan na ulit yung natin. Yan yung final render natin, no? So, click natin image dito sa Blender render natin. Maximize ko to. Click nyo tong image. Yan. Click nyo yung image, and then click lang natin tong save. So, save natin yan. Alright. Now, dito sa natin, we can just, again, lagyan natin dito. Then, type in lang natin siguro, test Blender. So, yan, test Blender. And then, we'll just leave it as a PNG, no? So, leave as PNG lang natin. Pero, tingnan notice nyo, wala tayong any sort of anything dito sa natin, background natin. It's literally just gray, no? So, probably, you would expect transparent yung background natin, ano? So, yan, okay na yan. We don't need to touch any of these, but the file format, dito sa file format, click nyo lang yung drop down, and then may selection na kayo dyan. No? You can go for JPEG, you can go for PNG, but let's try to render dito sa PNG muna. So, save as image natin yan. Okay? So, minimize natin lahat. Ayun, there we go. There is our Blender render. No? But notice nyo, hindi siya transparent. No? Because yan yung default talaga ni Blender. If you want this one to be transparent, hindi natin gagamitin whatsoever yung background ng scene natin, ganito ang gagawin natin, no? So dito sa natin, dito sa Blender natin, punta tayo dito sa render properties, no? And still under cycles pa rin tayo, no? So sa render properties natin, itong icon ulit natin, click natin tong film. Under film, click lang natin si transparent, no? And then let's try to render again. Ayan. Notice nyo, this time, this difference lang natin dito, talagang kita natin na mayroon tayong transparent background, no? So gagawin lang natin, same case din, image and then save, no? And then lagyan natin dito, test blender 2. No, .png pa rin, no? Kasi dahil meron tayong transparency, of course, we need to make it transparent talaga in terms of image format. So, kailangan natin PNG, no? So, save as image lang natin. Okay? And then, you'll notice here, ayan, no? Transparent din siya. Oh, there we go. Transparent na rin siya. So, yeah. Here we go. That is how you make things transparent. But we're not gonna do that whatsoever. Well, not yet anyways, no? Actually, sa 3D anime nyo na ito gagawin, no? So, yan. There we go. That is how you make things transparent and how to render out your background. No? So, any questions so far when it comes to saving render images? Again, to save your images sa Blender, click lang natin yung render by pressing F12. Click natin tong si image and then click lang natin tong si save. And then, of course, ilagay nyo lang siya kung saan nyo gustong ilagay. Wala na kayong kailangan galawin dito. Let's save it as just a PNG. No, okay lang yan. Wala na tayong gagalawin dito whatsoever. And then you can save it. No? Okay? Any questions so far?
Sir, bakit po sobrang dilim ng isang part ng cube po kapag sa render?
Kasi dito sa natin, sa render ko kasi dito, etong part na to, bakit madilim yung part natin dito? Ito yung kasi dito sa default na scene natin, meron tayong light, no? Meron tayong light. And then since yun nga, no, against the light, siya eh. Yung light natin dito, ayun, no? Dito yung light natin. That's how light would react, no? Talagang siya, against the light siya. Wala tayong makikita dito, no? Kasi dito tumatama yung light natin, no? Talagang wala tayong makikita na any sort of light natin. But if I try to, let's say, move it here, no? Notice nyo, ayan, no? Ginagalaw ko siya. Nandun na yung light source natin, no? So, mamaya, babalikan natin itong function na yan, no? So, that's just how light. But if I try to remove light, and then try ko i-render, ayan, perfectly balanced siya all throughout, no? Kasi wala tayong any sort of light source, no? Since sa Blender kasi, meron tayong default light. Meron tayong default light, ayan, no? Si point light. No? Alright?
Okay po.
Alright. So, other questions? Any other questions before we move on? Malagpas 1 hour na pala tayo. Ano pala tayo? Itong scene staging, hindi ko na siguro discuss to kasi hindi nyo naman magagamit to halos eh. Si Blender, wala nito. Si 3ds Max lang meron. No? So, hindi ko na discuss tong scene staging. Diretso na tayo to light and cameras. Okay? So, any other questions, guys? Any other questions? No more? No more questions? No more questions. Okay. So next na tayo, adding lights and cameras, no? The most important part when it comes to rendering, no? Syempre, just like in real life, to actually see anything sa kung anumang scene yan, we have to add lights, no? We need to add light, we need to add ambient lights, etc., etc. Now, yung cameras, we've already covered that sa Blender, no? So, unahin ko muna dito sa 3ds Max, no? So, unahin muna natin si camera, no? So, currently, when we're trying to render dito sa 3ds Max, we can just stick with this one, itong perspective natin, itong viewport lang natin dito. But, may konting problem tayo dun. Since, kung ito lang gagamitin nyo for your render, may tendency pa rin kayo to, to basically orbit around your scene, no? To basically check everything kung tama ba yung nakikita nyo, no? So, dito natin magagamit si camera, no? Same case din kay kay Blender, no? Kailangan natin ng camera always, no? Now, we have two choices to make our cameras, but we're really only going to be using one of them, no? So our first choice here, dito sa camera natin. Ito, cameras dito sa create tab natin dito, and then yung fourth icon natin, itong camera na icon, click lang natin any of these, no? Itong physical, target, or free. But preferably, you want a physical camera. So click lang natin yan, and then drop lang natin siya sa scene, no? So again, just like any object natin, click and drag lang tayo, no? Dito sa physical, we have two objects dito, no? Two objects yung ginagawa niya dito, no? So I'm just gonna open up this one. Pakita ko lang ulit. Okay, so delete ko na to. And then, again, physical. Notice yung scene explorer ko. Yan. When I added my physical camera, dalawa yung binigay sa akin. Itong actual physical camera and then itong target. No? So those are the two important parts na definitely magagamit nyo. No? So, physical camera is the actual camera where we get to see our camera, and then itong target kung saan siya nakatingin, no? So, we can easily move that up. Nahanap ko na pala, dito na ako. So, yan. Itong target, kung saan mo gusto mong itutok si camera, no? Saan mo gusto itutok yan, yan, sinusundan niya. But, meron pa tayong much more easier method than this one, no? So, like, let's say, while you're browsing your, while you're looking at your perspective, may nakursunadahan ka na angle. No? Like, let's say, itong angle na to, nakursunadahan ko, pero problema, when I try to make my physical camera, doon pa rin siya sa grid natin mapupunta, no? So, gusto natin gawin is gumawa ng camera already using this specific view already, no? So, to do that, click lang natin tong shortcut na Control-C. Control-C. Ayan. Gumawa na tayo ng camera. And mapapalitan na yung view natin from perspective to the view ng camera natin, no? But as you might notice here, siguro may mga nag-question na dito last time, no? Like, sir, bakit di ko na magalaw, di ko na ma-orbit tong itong camera ko, sir. Tapos, sir, ba't nawawala yung ko dito, yung parang cube ko dito sa perspective? Kasi napansin ko, nagamit na rin itong physical camera. Siguro at one point in their while they're making their scene, like siguro specifically sa activity 1, no? Na-press nila yung Control-C, no? So, possible yun ang nangyari. So, there we go. There is your camera already. And then, when we try to render that, I go to my Arnold render view, and then I try to render it. Now, currently, itong Arnold render view natin, it's still using yung natin, no? Yung viewport camera natin. So, basically, ginagamit pa rin natin yung nasa viewport natin. So, gusto natin sabihin dito kay Arnold render view na i-render out lang natin kung ano yung nakikita ng camera natin, no? So dito sa Arnold render view, click lang natin to, itong second na drop down natin dito that says here /viewport_camera. Click lang natin yung drop down, and then manonotice siya dito nakalista lahat ng mga cameras dito sa scene nyo. So i-click ko lang tong physical camera 01 ko kasi yun yung ginagamit ko ng camera. So that way, even when I try to move this one, naka-physical camera pala ako. So even when I try to go here back to perspective and then I try to move my navigation, notice nyo, di ba? Ginagalaw ko yung viewport ko, pero dito sa Arnold render view ko, nakastay pa rin siya kung saan nakalagay si physical camera ko or si camera ko, no? So, yan. That is the use of cameras, no? We basically lock things out kung saan dapat natin siyang i-lock out, no? So, we're basically already telling our renderer, just like what we did kanina sa Blender, to only render this certain portion, this certain angle sa scene natin. Alright? So, yan. Now, of course, pwede natin magdagdag tayo ng camera pa ulit, no? Pwede pa tayo magdagdag ng camera. So, click lang ulit tayo, add tayo ng camera ulit, no? So, let's say, pag ganito naman yung camera natin. Pero ang problem natin dito, dahil dalawa na yung camera natin, paano natin makikita yung individual na angles ng cameras natin? Now, just like dito sa Blender, ang shortcut natin dito kay Blender, no, numpad 0 to basically view our camera, no? Meron din tayo diyan kay 3ds Max, no? So to do that, instead na numpad 0 kay 3ds Max, ang shortcut natin is C, no? So C for Charlie, no? So C. And then manonotice nyo, yan. Manonotice nyo, pagpunta tayo sa C dito, currently nakaselect kasi itong physical camera ko, and then when I press C, doon tayo pumunta. But when I press my other camera, itong 001, and then press C again, pumunta naman ako dun sa physical camera 001. But let's say, wala tayong nakaselect dyan, and then we press C. Mag-open tong camera natin, tong select camera natin. Dito kayo mamimili kung saan camera ang gusto nyo pumunta. Let's say, dito sa physical camera 2 ulit ako, no? So, yan. So, let's say, adjust ko siya dito. Ayan. Let's say, this one naman, balik naman ako kay physical camera 01, nagbago isip ko. Ayan, ganun lang siya, no? So, easy natin masaswitch by pressing C. C for Charlie. Okay? All right. Questions so far in regards sa camera? 3ds Max users? Any questions so far? Wala? 3ds Max users? No questions? Wala? Wala ba? Wala bang may tanong? Wala. Okay, I'm guessing silence means no, no? All right, so dito sa Blender, we already discussed this kanina, no? How do we add a camera? Again, shortcut natin, Shift-A to basically add an object sa scene natin and then click lang natin si camera. And of course, yung natin to view our camera view, click lang natin yung numpad 0 or kung wala kayong numpad, click nyo lang to. Itong toggle icon natin dito. Nandito lang siya sa tabi ng outliner palagi, no? So, nandiyan lang siya, no? Or yung below ng tawag doon, itong gizmo natin dito. Itong old na camera, itong parang antique na film camera natin, no? So, click lang natin yon and then there we go. Now, let's say, multiple cameras ulit din tayo, like sa 3ds Max, no? Multiple cameras tayo. So, add lang rin itong na camera dyan. Pero ang problem natin, how do we change camera views, no? So, when I click on 0, dito pa rin tayo pupunta, dito sa bagong view natin. But when I try to select this one, hindi siya gumagalaw din, no? Bakit ganon? Now, currently, kasi kay Blender, we need to set kung ano yung dapat na active camera natin for the shortcut to recognize it na yun yung current na kailangan natin puntahan ng camera view. Now, kasi currently, dito sa scene natin, ang current camera view natin is this one. Now, paano natin malalaman kung bakit ito yung current camera view natin? Kasi you'll notice here, dito sa outliner natin, dito sa cameras natin, itong dalawang camera natin dito, meron tayong camera icon ulit dito. Itong green na camera icons dito sa gilid, no? And then manonotice nyo yung this one right here, itong sinilike ko currently, yung green na camera icon niya is naka-highlight. Kapag may naka-highlight na ganito sa camera nyo, that means yun yung current active camera. Now, let's say gusto kong magbago ng isip, gusto ko ito yung maging active camera ko para ma-change ko yung angle ko rin, no? So, ang gagawin lang natin is, i-click lang natin to. Click lang natin yun, yung green camera icon na katabi nung gusto natin na camera na tingnan, no? So, when I click that one, and then I press 0 again, dito na tayo pumupunta. And then, I'm free to change my angle again, no? So, yan. There we go. And then, when I try to render it, yun yung pa rin yung kinukuha niya, no? So, yun. Now, wala nga lang tayong kagaya ni 3ds Max na dito sa Arnold Render View where madali natin mapipili kung saan camera tayo mag-switch while rendering. So I guess this one is a major up kay Arnold, no, compared natin kay Blender, no. So yan, we can easily choose kung anong camera ang gusto natin piliin to render, no. Unlike dito kay Blender, babalik pa tayo dito sa scene natin, dito sa outliner natin, and then we select our camera and yan, notice nyo, change lang siya ng view natin as I select everything. Select yung current na camera view na ginagamit. Alright? So, clear ba so far, guys? Are we clear so far on that?
Yes po.
Okay. So, that is cameras, no? So, next natin is lights, no? So, lights na tayo. This is our second to the last na topic na, no? For the day. Siguro before 11:30 tapos na tayo. So, lights natin ngayon, no? So, let's delete our lights. Delete natin yung lights, no? Kasi we don't want that, we don't want to use that. Let's start fresh, no? Now, dito kay Blender, kay 3ds Max muna tayo, no? Panayin mo natin sa 3ds Max. Let me just set up a tawag doon, a scene first, no? Medyo minimize ko lang yung nasa scene ko. I'm just going to add a cyc, no? So ano ba yung cyc natin? So papakita ko sa inyo kung ano to, no? So itong cyc natin, siguro at one point in your life nakakita na kayo ng ganito, no? So a cyc is basically like yung mga yung mga studio background natin. Cyc or CYC, no? So rename lang natin to. So right click lang ako dito, rename. Let's name this cyc, no? So yan. Good to know yan, no? Good to know na term yan. Ang cyc, lalo na if you want to pursue filmmaking, no? Cyc. So to do that, so I'm just going to convert this one to editable poly. And then, edge select lang ako. Oops. Ayan, edge select. And then, extrude ko lang to. And then, I'm just going to chamfer this. Make it this one. Then, connected segments. Asan ko pa to? Yan. Siguro at one point in your life, you've already seen this one, no? Sa mga photo studio, kapag nagpapakuha kayo ng picture, no, sa actual professional studio, makikita nyo yan. That is what we call a psych or a basic studio background, no? So, stretch out ko lang yan. Stretch out ko rin yan. Okay. So, yan. Let's say, yan yung ano natin. Yan yung basic na scene natin. So, actually, let me turn on this one. Okay. So, currently, let's try to ito pinipindot ko. So, let's try to render this one again and then see how it currently looks like. Now, currently, it's gonna look something like this. No? Bakit ganyan yung actually? But ganyan yung, ano ko? It shouldn't look like that. Is it because naka-on yung, dito pala sa ano ko, current directory ko. Okay, let me just off ko lang ito. Iba pala yung directory ko. That's okay. So, currently, that shouldn't look like that, no? Ganito dapat maging itsura niyan. I'll render view. Ayan, ganyan na maging itsura niyan. Just how it looks like dito sa ating, tawag dito, sa ating camera view, no? That's how it should look like, no? So, it's pretty similar. Wala tayong any lighting whatsoever, no? So, what we want to do next is we want to add a light na, no? So, we're gonna add a light. So, I'm just gonna go back to my perspective view and then mag-add na tayo ng light. So, to add a light, click natin tong third icon natin, itong light bulb na icon. So, click natin yan. And then, we have numerous choices here. We have photometric, we have standard, and then we have R-node. Itong standard, hindi natin magagamit yan. Itong photometric and R-node lang magagamit natin. Now, this one is a pretty long topic already. This is a topic all on its own, no? So, this one dapat for 3D ani kasi ito eh. So, I'm just going to try and try to do this as fast as I can. No, kasi this one is, like I said, is a completely different topic on its own already. And this one is for 3D ani na talaga in general. No? So, when you have two choices here. You have photometric and then we have R-node. Unahin natin tong si R-node. No? So, unahin natin si R-node. Click lang natin tong si R-node light. And then, drop lang tayo sa scene yan. No? So, currently, ang default na light shape natin is tong quad. No? This one. Quad right here. No? And then, let's see how it looks like when we try to render that. Click lang natin to. Ayun, manonotice nyo, since nandun yung light natin, nandun lang yung bigla niya pinapakita yung light natin. Ano? Okay. So, currently, ayun, nag-select pala ako ng R-node light to basically stop adding R-node light sa scene natin. Just right-click lang tayo anywhere on the scene and then we're good to go. And then, ayan, nandito na yung light natin. And then, if I try to move it, ayun, lumalaki. Umaano yung light source natin kasi umaangat yung light source natin. No? So, ayan, there we go. I'm just going to place it here, somewhere here. Now, itong quad light natin dito, this is the equivalent of an area light. No? So, yan. So, currently, ayun, notice natin, meron na tayong lighting, no? Meron na tayong lighting. But, as we are already seeing, medyo mahina. Medyo mahina yung light natin. No? So, kailangan natin taasan yung intensity or yung lakas ng ilaw natin. So, to do that, now we had the choice earlier kanina when we created this R-node light kanina, no? But, since nag-exit out na tayo, nawala na siya. So, just like any other object, pupunta lang tayo dito sa Modify tab, no? While the light is selected. And then, yan, babalik na natin yung mga properties niya, no? So, we have here a lot of things here. No? Na preferably itong quad light natin dito, dapat, like I said, it is a topic all of its own. Lahat may explanation yan. But, for beginner purposes, hindi nyo na kailangan galawin tong mga spread, quad X, quad Y. Itong roundness, itong soft edge, yan, just keep it at 1. No? Just keep those at 1. And then, of course, lastly, itong color intensity. Now, dito na meron tayong konting discussion. No? So, sa color and intensity, color, as the name suggests, you can change the color of your light. No? So, click lang natin yung okay natin yan. Currently, hindi pa siya nag-update. Hindi siya nag-update. Ayan, no? Notice nyo. Then, when I turned it red, naging red yung light natin. No? So, currently, hindi mo siya masyadong kita. Hindi natin ma-appreciate. No? So, balik muna natin to white muna. No? Balik muna natin to white. Now, kapag ganyan, while your R-node render view is rendering, you might want to refresh it by clicking yung play and stop again. I forgot something. I forgot to do something nga pala dito sa R-node natin. No? Lalo na if you're using a GPU, I completely forgot, no, na blew over ko kanina. Now, di ba di sa Blender, we have the choice to use our GPU. Now, si 3ds Max, meron din naman tayong ganon, no? Meron din tayong ganon, but sadly, si Arnold Renderer kasi medyo biased siya when it comes to the CPU, no? CPU halos yung preferred na ano sa kanya, render device niya, no? So to do that, let's say gusto natin si GPU, no? Pwede naman tayo sa GPU. So to do that, punta muna tayo dito sa sa render settings natin, and then click lang natin tong Arnold Renderer, yung second tab natin dito. And then dito sa compatibility mode, change natin yan from 3ds Max map support to Arnold compliant. No? Then next, kasi itong compatibility mode natin, kapag lagyan natin to Arnold compliant, ibig sabihin talagang we are solely just using Arnold Renderer for this system. Next, after that one, click naman natin dong dito sa system. No? Click natin sa system, and then kung dito sa system natin, click natin tong device. No? So dito sa device, manonotice siya dito sa device selection, it says here CPU. So select nyo lang tong GPU, and then itong fallback to CPU. Just in case na mag-fail tong itong GPU natin. Parang sa ibang computer ako gumamit. Ginagamit ko pa tong personal computer ko eh. So, tapos studio computer na lang ako para mas mabilis. No? But, yeah, there we go. That's your choice naman. Automatic naman na madidetect ni 3ds Max yung change na yan. So, set it to GPU and then fall back to CPU. Currently, kasi itong personal computer ko still, pinalitan ko siya ito 1060 lang eh. So, dapat doon ako sa dapat doon ako sa studio computer ko. Okay? So, but yeah, there we go, no? Automatic naman na yung ma-recognize niya. And then you're basically good to go. But for now, I'll just stick to CPU because yun nga, mas preferred talaga ni 3ds Max CPU when it comes to rendering with Arnold, no? Compare natin dito kay kay Blender, less load lang siya with the GPU natin, but yeah, mas better yung output talaga natin, no? Kahit dito ko sa 1060 na personal computer ko compared dun sa studio computer ko, it's almost literally just the same lang halos no? So yeah. Much better pa rin talaga na dito sa Blender ka mag-render kung natatakot kayo na mag-crash yung computer nyo while you are rendering, no? So yan. There we go. So I'll just stick with the CPU for now. Ayan, no? So there we go. There is our render now. Yun na yung color natin, So yan, we have also mga preset na colors natin, no? Itong mga preset natin dito, ito yung mga types of light already. Pwede mo incandescent, pwede fluorescent, no? But do be careful on that one, Kasi itong mga 3,200K na to, 4,000K natin, those are Kelvin units, no? So dahil Kelvin siya, dahil itong mga presets na to, meron na siyang mga preset na intensity. No? Sometimes it might not work well for you. No? So preferably, even for me, I just stick with color. No? Di ako gumagamit ng preset. Ito naman Kelvin, if we try to use Kelvin naman, ito yung color temperature natin. No? So I'm just gonna turn this off muna. Pause ko lang yan. And then I try to lower this one to let's say 3,000. Ayan, manonotice nyo yung color natin dito, naging orange. Ibig sabihin, naging warm siya. So the lower you go, the warmer your scene. And then the higher you go, let's say 7,000, nagiging bluish siya. Nagiging colder yung scene natin. Okay? Next, itong texture, next time na natin yan. Sa natin to? Sa face-to-face na natin yan. Hindi muna natin gagamitin natin yan. Sa next meeting na natin yan, no? So, stick lang muna tayo with color, no? Kasi ito yung pinaka-important naman. Ito yung mas more creative na gamit natin dito. Okay? So, next, aside from color, dito tayo sa intensity, no? Of course, siguro, intensity, I think you've already encountered this term before in numerous classes before. So, ang basic knowledge natin dito, if we want to basically brighten our scene, no? We raise the intensity, no? So let's say it's set it to 28, no? Ayan, lumiwanag siya. But here is my tip for you guys. Instead na intensity ang taasan nyo tong itong exposure na lang, no? So yan, itong exposure kasi natin dito, sure, mas naging much more brighter yung yung overall na scene natin. But when it comes to pag-process ng data natin, much lesser yung yung render time natin if yung ginamit nyo na dito is exposure, no? Of course, if you want a more realistic na na output natin, of course, try mo sa intensity ka mag-change, no? Because yun nga, no, gaano kalakas lang yung ilaw niya, no? Gaano kalakas, kung gaano ka bright lang yung ilaw niya. Gaano kalakas pala yung ilaw. Etong exposure, how bright it is, no? So yan, notice nyo, no? So yeah, notice the difference between the two. Ako personally, when I'm going to be rendering dito sa 3ds Max and I'm going to be making use of the intensity and exposure of Arnold light, usually itong intensity ko mas mababa siya konti compared dito sa exposure natin. And I basically let the exposure do the heavy lifting for me, no? Kasi like I said, itong exposure natin much less yung natin, yung render time niya kapag yun ang tinataas nyo lang compared to intensity, no? Well, that's for my basic experience, no? So yeah. Okay? So intensity and exposure, you play around with that. There's really nothing wrong naman dito. There's really nothing wrong in choosing either of the two, no? Of course, syempre, if you're going to be changing your intensity, always change din, of course, yung exposure to basically match yung strength ng ilaw mo, no? Ayan, so notice mo, kapag nalagay lang dito sa intensity, malaki lang yung radius ng ilaw natin, pero sobrang baba naman exposure. So, kailangan natin siya taasan, no? Exposure natin, let's say 9. Ayan, para ma-match lang natin tong intensity natin. Ayan, no? Alright? Are we clear so far? Itong rendering, itong shadow contribution, hindi na natin kailangan yan. No need na yan. Ano? So, stick with this one. So, yung, where is it? Where is the thing? Ayan, itong color. And then, of course, itong intensity. Yan lang halos magagamit nyo na kakailanganin nyo for this term. No? So, yan. You can easily play around with that with Arnold light. No? Aside from quad light, itong type natin dito, since ito yung default natin, ano? So, yan. Marami tayong mga other stuff here. You can go for point light if you want to. So notice nyo rin, no? Notice nyo rin yung effect ng lights natin with the shadows, no? Compare natin siya from point to quad, no? So when I went for point, kasi pababa lang siya, pababa lang yung point light natin, ano? Pababa yung point light niya halos, pero since naka-angle din yung light natin, much sharper yung shadow natin. But compare natin to quad light, dahil doon nakatapat siya, much more softer pa rin yung shadow natin. Hindi siya gano'n ka-sharp. It's a much more realistic look natin. Ang tinatawag din natin dyan halos is yung tawag doon, yung proper global illumination. But like I said, saan na yan? 3D ani nyo na yan. No? So yan. You play around with the type of lights. No? Ito lang yung mga magagamit nyo. Guys, no? Point, spot, and quad. Yan lang yung magagamit nyo. No? Yan lang yung magagamit nyo. Itong point, spot, and then itong quad. Yan tatlo lang halos magagamit nyo guys throughout 3D mod until 3D ani. When you're going to be doing studio renders, product renders, interior renders, yan lang halos magagamit nyo. Itong point, spot, and then quad. So try naman natin itong spot. Ayan, no? It's literally a spotlight. No? So and then yan. Kung notice nyo rin guys, no? Different light types, magkakaroon din siya ng mga different settings. Now, currently, itong natin, itong Arnold light natin dito kasi, isa lang yung ginagamit natin dito, no? It's still using the same settings na ginagamit natin dito, kahit dito sa point light. But when we try to change to spot, may nadagdagan tayo na bagong settings dito, itong light shape, no? Ito pala mga different parameters natin dito, like yung radius, cone angle, lens radius, which are pretty self-explanatory already. No? And then ito, so itong shape rendering natin dito, hindi nyo kailangan yan. No? So yan, literally just the same feel. No? Do note na lang guys, if you're going to be adding lights, no? Hindi ganito yan. If you're going to be using Arnold lights, dito lang yan. No? So Arnold lights lang yan. But of course, if you want to add more lights, you're gonna have to make another one. No? So let's say yan. Magkaroon na tayo ng bagong light dito. So yan. And then click tayo dito. Now currently, dahil notice nyo, no, itong intensity ng current Arnold light ko dito, it's literally the same as this one. No? It's literally the same as that one. Kasi, but with the case sa Arnold lights natin, it's going to be using the exact same settings as you've used before. Sa previous na ginamit nyo na Arnold light. It's going to be using that. No? So copy lang, basically kinakopy lang niya yung current na Arnold light na last na ginamit nyo, no? So yan, that's why it's literally just the same as the other one. So let's say, pwede naman natin ibahin tong kulay natin to, let's say to red one. Yan, no? So yeah, there we go. And then instead maybe na spotlight, gawin naman natin tong white light, no? So magkakaroon kayo ng mga different type of effects sa scene mo, no? So notice nyo dito, nagkaroon tayo ng konting ng mixture ng light dito from white and then itong red natin. Nagkaroon tayo ng sort of good mixture of gradients between the two, no? So, notice na natin dito sa actual cube natin dito, no? So you can do something like that, no? So yan. There we go. That is your Arnold lights, no? That is Arnold lights in a nutshell. All right? Clear so far? Don't worry guys, itong blender napakadali lang yun guys. So forgive me kung kayo nahuhuli. I promise you guys, sobrang dali lang sa Blender, no? So, unahin ko na muna itong sa 3ds Max, no? As a 3ds Max, medyo maarte siya sa lights natin, no? Marami tayong choices na pwedeng pagpilian. Unlike kay Blender, iilan lang, no? So, unahin ko muna dito sa 3ds Max, no? So far, 3ds Max users, are we clear so far on Arnold lights? Don't worry, don't worry 3ds Max users, marami pa akong matuturo sa inyo dito after ng after ng midterms natin next meeting, no? While during your lab time, no? So, yan. Marami tayong na matuturo pa, no? Marami pa akong matuturo kasi lang tayo. I'm trying to minimize din yung time natin ngayon, para makuha nyo pa yung konting interest dito sa lighting natin. Definitely, guys, lighting is one of the hardest things to do. Yan ang mahirap talaga ma-perfect, no? Kung interior naman, madali lang interior actually. Madali lang ang interior, no? Ang mahirap lang doon is how to make it look realistic, no? So yun ang challenge doon. But definitely with the current na tinuro ko dito sa Arnold Light, kayang-kaya nyo makagawa na kagad ng realistic na lighting setup when it comes to interior rendering, no? So, knowing that, any questions regarding Arnold Light before we move on to photometric? Any questions so far? None? No questions ba so far, guys? 3ds Max users? No more questions? No questions ba? I'm guessing silence means no. Move on na ako, no? So let's move on to the next one, no? So let me just clear my scene once again, no? So clear ko lang ulit tong scene ko na to. Delete ko lang to. I'm just delete everything. Start fresh ulit tayo, no? So I'm going to be using naman itong photometric lights natin, no? So itong photometric lights, we have 3 choices here. Itong target light, free light, and then sun positioner. But really, guys, nakalagay dito 3, but really is dalawa lang dito magagamit nyo, no? Itong free light and then itong sun positioner. Itong target light and free light na to, they're literally just the exact same thing, no? Itong free light kasi, itong free light natin, let's add a free light, no? So let's start adding a photometric, no? So add tayo ng photometric lights. So let me just pause this one for now. And then add lang ako ng free light. Now, manonotice nyo, when I click on one of the options here, nag-open tong pop-up ko dito. No? It says here, photometric light creation. And sabi dito, you are creating a photometric light. It is recommended that you use the physical camera exposure control. Exposure control settings can be adjusted from the environment and effects dialog. Would you like to change this now? Click lang natin yan. Yes, no? Wag niyong i-check to, no? Always make sure always make sure natin na nakikita natin to, no? Para nalalaman natin na meron tayong warnings, no? Okay? So, click lang na. Okay, so okay na tayo diyan, ano? So as the dialog box said kanina, no? Kailangan na may sinabi siya, may binanggit siya about physical camera exposure control, no? So what that means, ibig sabihin, if you're going to be using photometric lights, kailangan na natin ng physical camera or a camera in general, no? So physical camera, kailangan natin 'yan. So try natin mag-add ngayon ng free light, no? So click lang tayo anywhere on the scene and then yun na yun. There's our free light, no? So I'm just going to render this out. Tingnan natin kung ano itsura. Ayan, no? Notice nyo, no? Compared natin dun sa point light natin kanina dun sa Arnold light natin dito, no? This one, is much more prominent, no? Much more brighter and of course sharper siya, no? Compared sa Arnold light natin. Now ang tanong, bakit? No? Now, an interesting fact, when it comes to photometric lights, no, when it comes to photometric lights in your scene, ang photometric lights kasi ang ginagamit niya, these are actual simulations already that basically mimics mga studio lighting, no? So, normal lang talaga yan. This one is pretty normal. This one is by default, no? Ganun talaga siya, no? But of course, just like any light, may freedom pa rin naman tayong i-edit yan, ano? By, again, going here sa Modify tab and while the light is selected. Now, di ba sabi ko dito sa sa photometric light, pareho lang tong free light at target light. Bakit? Kasi dito sa free light, may option tayo to open a targeted na na object, no? So, and then notice nyo dito, nagdagdag siya ng photometric light, 001 target, and it's literally just the same, no? So, pause ko lang to. Kasi may target siya. Ayan, no? Literally, this is just targeted light already, no? So, literally, free light lang kailangan yung gamitin and sun positioner for, for photometric lights, no? Ayan, ano? So, notice natin yan. Notice nyo? There we go. So, notice the difference already. Hindi siya masyadong prominent. Okay. And there we go. Medyo nagbo-bug out yata itong photometric light ko. Dapat usually, hindi niya inaano to. Dapat sinusundan niya correctly. But I think nagkaka-problem na to. Nagka-bug na itong photometric light ko. But usually guys, you don't need to move this one whatsoever. Itong target lang halos ang i-move nyo. Tapos dun siya tatapat, no? I think nagbabag lang tong sa akin. Nagbabag na yung photometric light ko. Dapat usually magana yan. Mag-follow yan like what we are doing here, no? But currently, hindi niya binabasa yung target light ko, no? So, but currently, yeah, I think that's okay lang rin naman, ano? But I think, if naman, pwede nyo rin gawin kapag ganyan, ano? Literally, pwede pa rin naman magamit. Viable, it's still viable pa rin naman. Itong target light nyo lang is itapat nyo lang siya kung saan nyo gustong itapat. Tapos, saka nyo na i-move tong point light nyo. And it's literally just going to orient itself. Titingnan lang niya palagi yung saan nakalagay yung target, no? So, yan, there we go. There we go. I'm just moving it around, pero doon pa rin siya nakatutok, no? Kung saan nakatutok yung target ng photometric light ko. Itong free light ko pala, no? So, there we go. Next, ito pala natin. Dito sa general parameters natin, punta tayo dito sa light distribution type. We have here, by default, itong uniform spherical natin, no? And then what we have here, yung mga other stuff natin. We have yung intensity color natin. So ito, it's literally just the same thing, no? Ito rin yung color natin. So yan, there we go. We can still use yung presets natin. We can use yung color temperature or we can use yung color filter natin, no? So yan, yung itong filter color natin, it's literally just the same as yung sa Arnold light natin with the color. So dito nyo siya i-change, no? So yan, there we go. And then intensity, we have lumens, we have CD, and then itong lux natin. Now these are your intensity, no? It's definitely much more different sa natin, sa Arnold light natin, ano? But this one is the most accurate one and it's the most similar one sa Blender, no? So, if I raise it, hindi nyo naman kailangan bago-baguhin yan kung gusto nyo lumens or ito natin, other stuff natin dito. So, yan. You can easily change the exposure to, the intensity from here. Wala lang tayong exposure na dito because yung exposure natin, it automatically calculates it for you as you change the intensity, no? As you notice it right here, no? Automatically na siyang nagka-calculate mismo and then it's going to give you the exposure that matches the intensity, no? So, it's already good, no? It's also much better dun sa natin na mano-mano natin i-change yung intensity and then mano-mano natin i-change yung exposure natin to basically just even things out, no? This one, it automatically calculates it for you, no? Now, itong dimming, hindi natin kailangan yan as well as fire attenuation. Ito, next, dito tayo sa shape/area shadows, no? This literally is the main part sa free light natin and target light natin, no? Because this one basically dictates yung yung shadow shape mo, no? So you're gonna have to line, as you can already see while it's currently rendering. Nakita niyo na kagad yung effects ng line shape natin dito. It basically changes the overall output ng shadow mo. And then we change it to rectangle. This one is more of a area light, no? It's literally giving the same exact result as the quad light earlier kanina, no? Much softer yung shadow natin dito, no? And then of course you can change yung length and width natin dito. Dito nyo siya i-change, no? Don't scale it, guys, ha? Don't scale it. You're gonna have to change it here, no? Sa modify tab, no? There we go. Then disk. Itong disk natin, this one is actually particularly bad, no? So I don't really recommend this one. Itong sphere natin dito, this one is what I would prefer then if you're going to be dealing with basic studio lighting and you want softer shadows, no? So yeah, there we go. So you'll notice here, no? Much better yon. It makes use of the same exact na ano natin kanina dito sa point sa point natin, but instead na sharp yung shadow natin dito sa sphere, much softer, no? So yan. Literally the same lang siya ng point light natin. The only difference is yung nagiging output ng shadow. No? And then lastly, itong cylinder. Itong cylinder, it's literally just the same as line lang, no? It's literally just the same. But compared natin dito sa line kasi, medyo sharp pa rin yung dito sa gilid na shadows natin. It still has that sharp look to it. But dito naman sa cylinder natin, it has the exact same output ng when it comes to brightness and intensity. But this one has overall softer shadows, no? Lahat super soft na shadows. All right? So, are we clear so far? Ang haba ng discussion for 3ds Max ng lighting, eh. Sobrang haba talaga, guys. Si Blender, hindi niya kailangan ng ganitong kahabang discussion, no? So, don't worry, guys. Konting taste pa. Malapit na. Patapos na to, no? I promise. Patapos na to. Okay? So, are we clear so far, 3ds Max users? With this one? Are we clear so far? All right. Now, dito sa ano natin, balik tayo dito sa light distribution type, no? Now, currently, ito na lang yung binibigay sa atin, no? Pero marami pa tayong options niyan, no? So, ang gagawin lang natin, to basically see every single options that we currently have, balik tayo dito sa point, no? Balik tayo dito sa point light, and then, click ulit tong light distribution type ko. And then, notice natin, nadagdagan tayo ng spotlight and then uniform diffuse. Really, guys, itong uniform spherical natin dito, nandito na siya. Nandito na si point light and nandito na si quad light from Arnold light, no? So, from Arnold lights, nandito na siya. Nandito na sa uniform spherical yung point and quad light. Now, ito na yung spotlight naman natin. So it's literally just the exact same thing as spotlight natin. And then again, you can just change yung light shape natin. No? But since a spotlight, this one is actually already pretty accurate. No? And then just like sa Arnold light, nandito yung ano natin, sa distribution natin. Distribution spotlight, itong light cone natin. Ito yung hotspot, yung overall yung ano natin, yung kung gaano kalaki yung naapektuhan ng pinakagitnang light source ng spotlight natin, and then of course yung fall off, yung overall outer radius, kung gaano kalaki yung kung gaano hanggang saan pala yung parang fade off, no, or yung fall off ng ano natin ng spotlight natin. And then the rest, it's literally just the same. But sadly, this one spotlight only works dito sa point light natin, no? So autumn always siya sa point light, but since yun nga, no, this is already accurate already, no? So this is already pretty accurate. So, yan, there we go. That is your lighting, no? That is your target light and then free light, no? There we go. Siguro itong sun positioner, face-to-face meeting na lang natin to. Next meeting na natin to. Para, kasi there are still a lot more stuff that I need to discuss in terms of lighting, but I have to move on na from this one. Meron pang isa pang source, one more source of lighting na kailangan natin gawin, which I'll do na lang sa face-to-face meeting, no? And sadly, guys, there's no pre-recorded recording for that, so you're gonna have to take notes, no? Don't worry, I'll be writing stuff on the board naman. You can just take a picture of that, no? Same goes for Blender. Don't worry, they're actually fairly easy compared to this one, no? Kasi this one, itong currently natuturo ko sa inyo ngayon for this meeting, is mainly for interior, no? Or studio lighting, no? So interior and studio lighting tayo for the lights currently ngayon, no? All right? So are we good na, guys? 3ds Max users? Are we good na? So again, quick recap, ang magagamitin nyo lang na lights halos ngayon is photometric and then itong Arnold, no? So yan. Photometric and Arnold. And then sa photometric, free light, and itong free light lang halos gagawin nyo. Ito lang free light halos pagagamit nyo, no? Kasi nandun na lahat. Now si Arnold, ganun din, no? Si Arnold light natin ngayon. Now, question, sir, pwede po ba namin ipag-mix tong photometric and then itong Arnold? The answer is yes. Pwede natin ipag-mix yan, ano? So, add lang tayo ng light natin dito. Let's see, ayan, no? Notice nyo? You can mix and match the two already, no? Ano, notice nyo? There we go. So, yes, the answer is yes. Pwede siyang i-mix and match, no? All right? Clear so far? 3ds Max users, move on na ako kay Blender. Actually, si Blender napakabilis lang eh. It's barely gonna take like, I don't know, 2 minutes. Literally 2 minutes lang yun halos in this kind of Blender when it comes to lights. Are we clear so far, 3ds Max? Are we clear so far? Are we clear so far, 3ds Max users? Clear ba so far? Okay. Okay, so clear tayo. Alright, move on tayo kay Blender. Napakadali kay Blender eh. Literally ilang minuto lang to. No? So, siguro while I am discussing 3ds Max already, you're probably doing it already, you know, before I even discuss it. I mean, that's okay kasi and you can already pretty much realize it already how easy it is, no? So, what if you're not, no? If you're still following along with me, so let's do that, no? So, light is just like any other object. So, Shift A lang tayo. Shift A and then dito sa light. Now, question is, sir, alin dito yung pipindutin namin? Any of this works fine. Any of this, kung ano gusto nyong pindutin, okay lang. No? So, click lang natin point. So, yan. There's our light, no? So, dito sa light natin, currently, medyo mahina pa to, no? Para makita natin yung render view na natin, ano? So, sa render view natin dito, instead na always i-render natin yung thing natin dito, we can actually already see it dito sa scene natin. No? Actually, before I do that, gawa rin ako ng psych. No? Gawa lang ako ng psych ulit. Gawa lang ako ng psych. I'll just be quick. Okay. Right. So there is my psych. All right. Now we have the option here to already see our rendered look, or basically our scene, when it's rendered. No. So to do that, ang shortcut natin for that is press and hold Z, and then click lang natin tong si rendered. No. So yan. So there we go. Ito na yung itsura ng scene natin when we try to render it. Now, paano kung mapuputunayan yan? Try natin render. It's the same thing, no? It's not the exact same thing. Now, the other shortcut for that, other than pressing Z, press and holding Z, and then doing here, click lang natin to. Itong fourth icon natin dito sa top right ng viewport natin dito. It says here, viewport shading, display render preview. Literally the same thing. But much better kung ganito para mas mabilis nyo ma-access kaagad. It basically saves you a lot of time already from clicking here, no? By a couple of microseconds, no? So always good to remember your shortcuts. So yeah, there we go. As you can see, medyo mahina yung light natin, no? So to do that, I'm just going to be selecting light, and then to edit this out, dito sa properties editor natin, i-click lang natin tong light bulb icon natin dito, no? Or yung object data properties natin. Now this object data properties, it differs siya from object to object. It depends kung anong type of object siya. So we've already covered that before, no? Kapag spline siya, magiging spline to, di ba? Kapag mesh siya, no? So this entirely depends kung ano yung object na yon, no? So yan. Dito natin sa light properties natin, sa object data properties ng point light natin, we can change the color from here, no? But tasan muna natin siya. Currently sa 10 watts siya. So by default, yung default na point light na binibigay sa ni Blender is at 1000 watts already. Ang difference between the two, ni 3ds Max and ni Blender. Kasi di ba remember, yung point light natin sa 3ds Max, ang sharp ng shadow. But dito sa ano natin, sa point light natin kay Blender, ang soft na agad ng shadows is already gives you a sort of realistic shadow look to it, no? Sadly, wala ka lang tayo. Hindi siya masyadong studio-like, but it still looks pretty good already na, no? Alright? So, and then of course, radius. Itong radius natin dito, yan, nababago yung natin, resulta ng shadow natin. The greater the radius, the lesser yung natin, yung prominence ng shadow niya, no? Magiging sobrang soft ng look niya, no? So we can then 0.5. If we want the shadow to be a bit more sharper, pwede pa natin ba 0.1. So the lesser the radius, sharper shadow. Greater the radius, softer shadow, no? Right? So there we go. Now, dito kay Blender, just like kay Arnold light dito, no? Or basically doon sa ano natin, doon sa like sa ano rin din, sa photometric light, interchangeable din siya, no? You can easily swap out for point, spot, and area. Itong sun, hindi natin magagamit yan. Itong sun natin, this is absolute garbage sa Blender. I'm saying it right now, this is absolute garbage. Isa lang yung use talaga ni sun, which I will not discuss, no? Sa 3D Ani pa yan, no? 3D Ani ko i-discuss yan. But yeah, itong sun na to, this is absolute garbage. Hindi siya suitable for exterior renders whatsoever. So ito lang, point, spot, and area lang halos magagamit nyo. And like I said, you can easily interchange, di ba? So I'm just rotating stuff out. Oops, di pa na, this one, ayan o. I'm just literally rotating yung light ko. Ayan. And then literally, na-keep pa rin niya yung same na parameters niya, no? So when it comes to power, it's still at 1000 watts kasi doon nakaset din yung point light ko, 1000 watts eh. And then kung area, there we go. Area light. Light shape natin to, you can change it as well, no? But literally, you only need square for this one, no? Hindi nyo kailangan ng other light shapes dito because it's already good as it is, no? But if you want to, it's there for your exploration, no? Pwede nyo ma-explore yan. And then of course, color. Hindi ko na change yan, no? Color, there we go. Literally just the same, no? So that is that is it for lighting, no? Yan lang yung mga choice ng lighting natin, no? When it comes to light objects sa Blender, it's literally here we go. There is our cube. Whew. All right. Are we clear so far, guys? Are we clear so far? It's a good day to be a Blender user. No, napakabali, ano? Ilang minuto lang tayo noon. Ilang minuto lang, no? So yeah, there we go. That is literally it. And then there we go, no? It's already done. My render is already done as well. So yeah, currently itong personal computer ko is running with a 1060. It only took like less than a minute, no? Compared natin dito kay 3ds Max, it took a minute plus, no? And do note, this is my personal computer dito sa 1060. If I'm using my 3080 dun sa studio computer ko, well, definitely manonotice yung change. But I think, yeah, mas better na dito ako nag-demo sa inyo para manonotice nyo talaga yung reality, no? Yung reality if you're using an average computer, no? 1060, it's pretty average by today, no? Pretty average yung computer na yan, 1060. But if you're using a 3080 or 3090, kayo na, no? Ako 3080 lang ako eh. 3080 lang gamit ko. But if may 3090 kayo, barely nyo manonotice to. Barely nyo manonotice yung render time nyo. Alright? So, there we go. That is basically it. That's basically it for lighting. Any questions so far, guys? Move on na tayo sa pinaka-last, no? Pinaka-last na tayo. Last na tayo. I promise, last na to. Alright? So, next na natin is texture mapping. Mag-a-add na tayo ng textures. Now, si Blender, halos tinuruan ko na yung mga dito, yung mga Blender on how to add textures before, no? Yung pag-change natin ng colors. But let me just open up my peg for your activity 6, no? So, pumahanap ko. I think it's somewhere here. Ata yun. So I'm just gonna open up my peg na scene. Same goes here. Now this one also again is pretty important as well, no? Kasi like I said, this will be your activity 6 na, no? So as I already stated last meeting, no, your activity 6 is basically interior rendering, no? Where the hell is it? Kita ko na kanina yun. All right. All right. So this is my peg dun sa activity 6 nyo, no? So yeah, there we go. This is my interior, no? So if you're already looking at it dun sa dun sa reference ko, this is literally it when it's rendered. Currently, wala siyang any sort of materials whatsoever kasi lalagyan ko yan. Tuturuan ko kayo on how to do that. So, okay. So, ang dami nawawala. Okay, continue ko lang yan. Okay? So, there we go. This is my scene for activity 6, no? So, discuss natin ano ba yung textures, no? Basic rundown na lang tayo ngayon para mabilis. Okay? So, there are 3 ways we can add textures to our 3D assets. Number 1, using existing textures. Number 2, UV unwrapping. Number 3, use of third-party softwares like Substance Painter, which is not allowed, no? Hindi ko na tuturo rin yan, no? So, literally, throughout this term, dalawa lang may encounter natin dito. Using existing textures from the internet, and then UV unwrapping, and basically making use of your own textures, which we will discuss next meeting, no? So for today, existing textures muna tayo. The-download lang tayo from the internet, no? So start muna tayo sa basics. So textures, like I said kanina, TLDR kanina, no? Literally, colors to your line art, where the line art is your model and the colors are your textures, no? So that's basically it, no? Now, adding textures, no? Napakadali na tayo mag-add ng textures. Actually, guys, scratch out ko na to. Kung sa 3ds Max kayo, we're going to be using a different one. But it's there, no? And as you can see here, adding textures natin, meron na akong dito sa nire-recommend dito sa inyo, ambient CG. So I'm just going to, I'm just going to highlight it here. Yeah, there we go. Lagay ko na dito. And then you can also, I forgot yung ano natin dito. I think it was Polyhaven or something, I think. And this one, Polyhaven, no? So Polyhaven, this one right here. Wait, ano dito sa browse textures. Yan. Right? Dito. So these 2 sites, yan ang mare-recommend ko when you're going to be downloading textures, no? Ako personally, big favor ako kay Ambient CG when kung solely textures lang naman. That's what I would recommend, no? Now, ito, dito sa Polyhaven, meron silang add-on for Blender. Kayo na bahala kung gusto nyo gamitin yan, no? But for activity purposes, wag muna, no? Wag nyo muna gamitin yan, no? Kasi baka kayo lang mahirapan, no? Kasi medyo heavy load din tong add-on na to. So, download na lang kayo ng individual textures nyo, no? Alright? So, next natin, dito sa ano natin. Punta tayo dito sa scene natin, no? So, add na tayo ng textures. So, to add textures and to basically set everything up, no? Dito sa 3ds Max, lagay muna natin siya to high quality para maganda yung itsura ng makita natin yung textures natin, no? Para madali natin manotice yung detail ng textures natin. Now, currently, wait. May lighting dito. Never mind. Wala pa pala. Okay, never mind. Okay, so wala pa palang textures. Okay, that's good. Okay, so unahin ko muna tong natin, no? Yung share ko dito because literally ito yung main centerpiece na gagamitin natin. Gagamitin ko pala. No? So to do this, actually, turn off ko lang. Open ko lang. Okay, so add lang ako ng textures for both of these, no? Add lang ako ng basic textures lang muna. So dito sa 3ds Max, to do that, to add a texture to your object, press natin yung M. M or Mahatma. Okay, so press natin M to open yung material editor. Hindi nag-open yung material editor ko. Why is it not opening? Okay, there we go. So, this is my material editor. Now, currently dito sa PowerPoint ko, ito ba yun? Yan, currently sa PowerPoint, ito yung pinapakita ko dito. But, hindi yan yung gagamitin natin. Dito na lang tayo. Mas madali na tong slate material editor. Diretso ko na kayo, advanced na kagad, no? Diretso advanced na kayo agad. So this is your material editor, no? And then manonotice nyo kagad dito sa gilid, no? Ito yung mga materials natin. Ito yung mga default na materials natin or yung mga shader natin na tinatawag, no? Now, dito sa 3ds Max, it doesn't really matter kung physical material ang gamitin nyo. So, for beginner purposes, I'm going to limit to what you need, to what you use to either physical material or dito sa Arnold, under ng Arnold, dito standard surface. So pick any of these two. Ako personally, guys, prefer ko to. Arnold standard surface, no? Kasi Arnold na yung render engine natin. So why not Arnold na rin yung gamitin natin, no? So yan, there we go. This is your first ever texture. Now, for for a better workflow, always name your material. So let's name this one cushion underscore text for basically texture, no? Cushion underscore texture, no? And then to basically apply this to my object, you have two choices, no? So you can easily click on click on this circular node, itong circular na node natin dito, or nandito siya, yun. Ayan, nandito siya. You can easily click on that, press and hold, left click, and then drag lang natin siya kung saan natin siya ilalagay, no? Manonotice nyo naman siya, mag-highlight naman yung object nyo. Ibig sabihin, doon natin siya ilalagay, no? So, yan, may choices tayo. But, since like I said, dito ko siya ilalagay, no? Lagay ko siya dito. Oops, it's not signing. Why are you not signing? Is it sa lighting ko? Is it because sa lighting ko? Wait, teka. Why are you not? Baka sa lighting ko. Teka, balik lang ako ng standard. Okay. Sige, palitan ko muna to a more prominent color. Okay, yan. So, in-off ko lang muna yung high quality ko to back to standard para makita lang natin. Kasi this is a base color lang kaya hindi nakikita, no? So, yan. There we go. As you notice right here, I just dragged it there and then pilitan ko lang yung kulay para makita nyo. But there we go, no? As you can see, I'm already changing the color of my object, no? So that is one way already, no? Sa Blender, guys, I already taught this to you guys before, no? Sa Blender, to do that, so let's just use this one again. Back to solid view muna ako. And then dito sa Blender, dito sa properties editor natin, and then click nyo lang tong icon na to. Ito yung materials property natin, material properties natin, or yung material icons natin. Now, by default, wala kayong any sort of texture dyan, no? So, click lang natin tong new, and then this basically adds a new material for you, no? And of course, lagay lang natin ng ng pangalan para hindi kayo malito. Always name your textures, guys, no? Para madali nyo makita, no? Always name your textures. That's pretty important, no? Always name your textures. And then, of course, automatically naman na siya naka-apply, no? And then, change lang natin yung color, no? Let's say, gawin natin red. Pero ang problem natin, sir, bakit hindi ko makita yung color ng material ko? Naka-apply naman siya. Kasi, currently, yung viewport shading natin is at solid, no? Wala talaga tayong makikita. So, kailangan natin makita yan in material preview shading mode. So, again, just like how we switch over to our rendered mode dito sa viewport natin, press and hold lang natin Z, and then instead na rendered, click lang natin tong material preview. And then yan. Diyan na siya, no? There is my red cushion, no? There we go. And then same lang rin dito. Now let's say dito sa dito sa material ko dito, I want it to be the same as this one, no? Instead na gagawa ulit ako ng bago, we can actually just select it from my material list. So, kiklik ko lang tong plus natin dito to basically add an item here that basically indicates na maglalagay tayo ng material. And then, I'm going to click on this one, no? Ito yung material list natin. So, click natin to. And then, select lang natin yung material na currently na nasa scene nyo. Lahat ng mga materials na ginagawa nyo using this file or using this scene, dito natin siya makikita. So, select ko lang na yung cushion underscore text, and then there we go. Napalitan na natin siya. Alright? Alright. Okay? There we go. That is how you add your basic textures. But, like I said, we don't want basic textures. We want downloaded textures, no? So, right now, meron naman ako textures for this one. I just downloaded from, from Polyhaven dati. So I'm just going to be adding my textures, no? So hanapin ko lang siya currently dito sa ko. Unahin ko muna dito, no? Unahin ko muna dito. Let me just open up yung folder ko. Hanapin ko lang. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Activity, module 6, ayun. Okay. So, ito yung mga ginamit ko na textures for this scene, ano? think for this one, I think ginamit ko yata dito sa cushion is Fabric 2, no? Now, currently, if you downloaded your textures via Polyhaven or Ambient CG, definitely ganito yung pack na makukuha nyo, no? So, meron tayong maraming texture files na makukuha tayo. Meron tayong ambient occlusion, meron tayong color, meron tayong displacement, meron tayong normal, meron din kayong roughness, etc., etc. No? So, marami tayong ganyan, no? Marami kayong makukuha na ganyan. Kung sa Polyhaven naman, I think, if I remember correctly, kung sa Polyhaven, ang bibigay lang sa inyo is, tawag doon, itong color, normal, roughness, tsaka metallic lang, no? But don't worry, yun lang, gamitin lang naman natin dito itong color, itong normal, and then itong roughness. Hindi muna natin gagamitin itong ambient occlusion. Ito lang muna, itong color, normal, and then roughness, no? So yun ang pinaka-important. Kasi, ang tawag doon, sa Ambient CG, sa Ambient CG to, if I actually remember correctly pala. Ambient CG pala to. So, currently, itong cushion natin, ito na yung naka-apply natin dito, no? Ito na yung naka-apply doon. So, papalitan lang natin siya with the textures that we currently have, no? So, currently, marami tayong choices ngayon na pagpipilian. So, we have color, normal, and then roughness, no? Ito lang muna gamitin natin. So, ang gagamitin natin, para makita natin yung actual na main texture natin dito sa scene natin, we need the color, no? Or the diffuse or the albedo. So, lalagay lang natin siya, click and drag lang natin siya dito sa scene natin. And then yun, mag-open siya ng isang bitmap node, no? So, itong bitmap node natin na to, manonotice natin dito, if I try to open that, ayan o, ito yung texture ko. Ito yung texture ko pala, no? So, gagawin ko lang, i-connect ko lang tong bitmap node ko na to, itong color na texture ko, to the base underscore color. And then as you can see here, notice natin, ayan na siya, maayos na siya. Nandun na yung texture natin. But, some of you guys, siguro, lalo na kung complex yung model nyo, definitely hindi magiging ganyan yan. Hindi magiging ganyan. Kasi currently, pwedeng possible na maging ganyan yung itsura niyan. Itsura nagiging stretched out yung textures nyo, which is not realistic, no? So, kailangan natin dagdagan. Ang kailangan natin ilagay dito is a UVW map, no? So, UVW map, dito sa UVW, sa modify tab natin, click natin yung modifiers list, type in lang natin UVW, and then select lang natin ito, UVW map. Select lang natin yan. Now, in most cases, pag nilagay niyan, automatic na siyang masosolusyonan sa'yo. But it looks like currently it doesn't look that good currently. Ano ko lang, lipat ko lang to dito. So currently, it looks a bit weird pa rin, ano? Stretch out pa rin tong gilid. So kailangan natin baguhin siya. Now, marami tayong mapping na dito, parameters natin. Meron tayong planar, cylindrical, spherical, etc. etc. But trust me guys, ito lang halos magagamit nyo. Either planar or box. Yan lang halos magagamit nyo. And then, see what happens dito sa box ko. Almost perfect na siya, no? Kailangan ko lang baguhin yung length, width, and height natin para ma-change lang yung overall na itsura niya. Currently, it doesn't look like sa length and width yung magiging solution. Try ko sa height. Ayan. So, notice what happens, guys. No? Ayan, no? Malinis na siya. Malinis na yung texture ko. No? Compared natin kanina, ganyan, stretch siya na itsura, no? But when I just altered this one, or when I just basically altered any of the parameters here, whether length, width, or height, it depends kung ano yung kailangan ng model nyo. Yan, malinis na yung texture natin. That is how powerful this is. This is actually a pretty useful tool na sana si Blender meron sana. No? Actually, meron din si Blender pero sobrang hidden siya. No? Pero yung actual na makikita mo tong visible na ganitong modifier, sana meron si Blender. But, don't worry, papakita ko rin sa Blender on how to do this. No? So, yan. There we go. There is our cushion na texture. No? So, again, lipat ko na, open ko lang itong material editor ko. Lilipat ko lang rin siya dito. Ganun din. Same thing as before. No? Currently, ito may UVW map na rin to, so hindi ko na kailangan baguhin. No? Okay. So, now that we have my color here, nakikita na natin yung textures, pwede na natin idagdag yung mga natitira natin, which is itong normal and then itong roughness, no? So itong normal and roughness, isa-isayin ko lang muna, itong normal muna, normal, drag and drop ko lang yan, basic drag and drop lang tayo dyan, and then itong roughness, no? So roughness, then itong roughness map natin dito, ko-connect natin siya sa diffuse_roughness kung dito sa standard surface, no? So lagyan natin siya dyan. And then itong si normal map, ilalagay natin siya dito sa, where is it? Ito, dito sa normal. So click and drag normal. And then there we go. So yan na yan, perfectly set na yung materials natin. Pero sir, ano question? Para saan po ba yung mga other na textures natin dito, no? Kasi ang textures natin dito, yung mga pre-downloaded textures natin dito, like yung itong roughness, itong normals na to, this basically adds more detail, no? Or quote-unquote illusion of detail, no? Kapag ni-render natin to, so for example, no, naging parang almost realistic na yung approach natin dito. This one is because of the normal. So punta ko lang dito sa high quality para much better nyo makita, no? So tinanggal ko tong bit normal, tingnan niyo mabuti, no? Barely niyo siya manonotice, but ayan, no? Much more mas parang nararamdaman mo yung overall texture talaga ng scene. Barely niyo siya manonotice, Barely niyo siya manonotice, but it's going to be there when it is rendered, no? So ayan, no? It almost looks realistic na talaga. So that's the power of yung mga texture maps, no? I will not be discussing this further because this one is for your 3D Ani na, no? So, and there we go. That is the use. No? Always make use of this, guys. No, always make use of this. Okay, always make use of this stuff. All right. Also 3ds maps, and of course, the Blender. Then always make use of the other texture maps aside from the base color. No, base color. So, recap tayo. Base color is basically yung overall na itsura ng texture natin. Kung ano yung texture nyo, doon nyo ilalagay, no? So, kung ano yung mahanap nyo sa internet, kung like let's say, yung texture nyo is literally this one, ito yung ilalagay nyo sa base color, no? Kung ano yung itsura talaga ng texture. And then the rest are just additional texture maps to add more detail to said texture, no? This one is a bit more complicated and definitely it has a discussion of its own sa 3D Ani, no? So this one is for beginners na lang muna tayo. Hindi ko muna siya further discuss because there's definitely a lot more to this than what we currently have now, no? But for now, yan lang kailangan nyong matandaan, no? All right? Are we clear so far, 3ds Max users? Are we clear so far? So to do that, no? So base color, and then kung hindi tama itsura ng kung hindi maganda itsura ng texture nyo dahil nagkaroon tayo ng stretching, always remember, lagay nyo lang tong UVW map modifier, no? So yan. Are we clear? 3ds Max users? Are we clear so far? Guys, 3ds Max users, are we clear? Are we clear? Pakunti ng pakunti. Kanina from 14, naging lang tayo, 11. Ay. Don't blame me guys kapag bigla kayong Okay. Alright, so dito naman tayo sa Blender, no? So dito tayo sa Blender. Now this one's a Blender again. Sobrang dali. Kasi unlike dito sa 3ds Max na mano-mano yung ilalagay dito na paisa-isa, dito sa Blender, meron tayong add-on na already pre-built kay Blender na basically it basically tells the software na kung ano yung mga maps natin and automatically na niyang ilalagay, no? So, instead na ito gamitin natin, itong material properties natin sa material properties editor, punta tayo dito sa shading, no? Dito sa menu bar, dito sa mode selection natin, click natin tong shading. Parang shading pala, no? Para fully gamit natin tong shader graph natin, no? So this is your shader graph, by the way, no? So ito yung shader graph natin, no? This is what we call shader graph. Okay? So do take note of that. Now, before we do anything else, we need to turn on yung sinasabi ko na add-on, no? So punta tayo dito sa edit, punta tayo sa edit, and then punta tayo ng preferences. And then sa preferences, select nyo dito sa add-ons. Ayan, add-ons. And then type in nyo lang. Type in nyo Node Wrangler. Ayan. Napaka-useful nito. So, click nyo lang itong check na yan, click nyo yan, and then click on refresh. And then you're good to go. No? So, once that's enabled, i-click lang natin tong shader natin. Currently, ito yung shader natin. Like sa Arnold standard surface natin, no? So this is our shader sa 3ds Max. So, ito yung ginamit natin kanina, itong standard surface, no? Pwede nyo rin naman gamitin tong physical material, no? Pwede rin naman yan. It's literally just the same thing din, ano? So base color to base color, roughness to roughness, and then normal to bump nga lang. Yun ang mga pagkakaiba. Don't worry guys, I'm going to be leaving a guide din sa natin face-to-face meeting. Don't worry, isusulat ko sa Glassboard yan on where to link stuff, no? On where to link stuff, no? You can just take a picture of it later on sa face-to-face meeting natin. Don't worry, no? So babalikan din natin yung ulit, no? So dito tayo sa balik tayo sa Blender. So this is your shader, no? This is the Arnold standard surface of Blender, si Principled BSDF. Now, dito sa Principled BSDF, i-click lang natin siya. Click lang natin siya. And then, our shortcut, actually, where is my screencast? My background. Okay. All right. So, dito sa natin, Principled BSDF, select lang natin siya. And then, shortcut natin is Control-Shift-T. No? Control-Shift-T. Now, this basically opens up this, yung window nyo dito, no? But of course, hahanapin nyo dito sa window na to is the textures that you downloaded from the internet, no? So I'm just going to find it again. Module 6, images, textures, I think it was Fabric 2. Okay. So dito sa Fabric 2. Now, currently, ayan, no? So click nyo itong parang display mode natin para makita natin. Click natin yan. So dito, select lang natin. Kung i-recommend ko sa inyo guys, download na lang kayo from Polyhaven, no? Huwag sa Ambient CG. Para ang mabibigay lang sa inyo is itong color, rough, normal, tsaka itong roughness, and then yung isa lastly sa metallic, no? So ito lang gagamitin natin, no? So select lang natin itong color, and then press and hold control. Left click tayo dun sa normal. Ito pala, wag pala to. Itong color, and then itong normal, and then itong roughness. So, okay na yan. Once I selected those three, click ko lang itong Principled Texture Setup. Ayan. Automatically na siyang ibibigay sa inyo, no? Oops. Wait, bakit? Anong material to? Ay, maling material pala ako. Maling material pala ako. Okay, repeat ko na lang rin, no? Just in case, repeat ko na lang ulit, no? So again, Control-Shift-T. Again, hanapin ko to. And then multiple selection while in this window. Hold Control, no? So hold Control. Select ko lang yung texture maps na gagamitin ko. Itong color, roughness, and then itong normal. If you downloaded from Polyhaven, kung ano yung mga nandun, yun ang ilagay nyo, no? So color, roughness, and then itong normal. And then click nyo lang itong Principled Texture Setup. And like I said, boom, boom, boom. Automatic nang ibibigay sa inyo. And there we go, no? So, there is our thing. But the problem is, gano'n na naman, no? Kanina, dun sa, natin kanina, no? Dun sa cushion natin sa 3ds Max kanina. It looks weird, no? It looks stretched out pa rin, no? So, paano natin naayusin yan? Kasi wala naman tayong UVW map. Nandito na actually siya, Nandito na siya. Ito na yung UVW map natin, ano? Itong texture coordinate and then itong mapping. That is it, no? Pero ang problem, ganyan pa rin siya, no? So, ano yung solution natin dito? So, ang gagawin lang natin dito, balik tayo sa layout natin. Balik tayo sa layout. And then, dito natin i-preview na yung material preview natin. Ayan. So, dito sa natin, sa texture coordinate natin dito, dito sa material preview natin, actually, pakita ko na dito yung UV editor ko. Wait, shader editor pala. Okay. So, as you notice here, even when I try to change it from generated to other stuff, no, it still looks weird. Kasi, like I said, ito na yung UVW map modifier ni Blender. Ito na yan eh. Pero ang problem, it still doesn't look right. Kahit itong, kahit itong object, kahit nalagay sa object, it still doesn't look right, no? So, paano natin masusolusyonan yan? Ang gagawin lang natin is we need to unwrap this object, no? So, itong unwrap natin, i-discuss na natin yan next online meeting, no? So, hindi mo natin discuss yan. I'm just going to do the basics of it, no? So, ang gagawin lang natin is select lang natin yung object na gusto natin ayusin yung texture natin. For example, itong first one natin dito. Punta tayo sa edit mode by pressing tab. Nasaan ko? Wala naman yung screencast ko. Lolo ko na naman. Okay. So, let me just go here. Okay, so there we go. This is my edit mode na, no? So, gagawin ko lang, select ko lang everything. So, I'm just going to select everything. And then I'm going to press U. No? U to unwrap. No? It says here, UV mapping. Now, marami tayong selection dyan, pero select lang natin to Smart UV Project. And then press lang natin OK. And then there we go. Ayos na siya currently. No? Kailangan pa natin siyang i-scale down a bit, but it looks okay naman na. No? It looks good naman na. No? Hindi naman natin siya makapansin dito. Kailangan lang natin ayusin yung part natin dito by simply playing around with this one right here again. No? So, ayusin lang natin tong parts natin dito. Probably dito sa scale natin. Nope. 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 Okay. So, kapag hindi siya nasusolusyonan with the mapping node dito sa ano natin, we go back to our plan B. So, yung plan B natin is, again, pretty normal din, no? So, pupunta naman tayo dito sa UV editing natin, no? Punta naman tayo sa UV editing. As you notice here, papunta tayo dito. May UV editor na tayo dito. But, siguro, lagay na lang natin siya dito sa layout. And then, let's just open it up in our editor, no? So, currently, guys, if you don't have this split screen na ano ko dito, just click in between one of the mga windows natin dito. Right-click lang kayo. And then, vertical split, no? So, itong vertical split natin dito, ayan, no? Mag-open up this parang cut natin dito. And then, you press left-click, mag-open siya ng bagong editor, no? Bagong viewport, no? So, this one, dahil yun na ginawa ko, click ko lang tong ano natin dito, editor type natin. Ito, click lang natin yan. And then, I'm going to change it to UV editor. So, yan. Now, currently, wala siyang anything here, no? Wala siyang anything whatsoever here. So, gagawin lang natin, select lang natin itong object na to, go to edit mode by pressing tab again, and then yun, notice yun, nandito na yung textures natin, no? Now, para lang makita natin yung overall na UVs natin, itong mga parang grid natin dito, itong parang mga outline natin, click lang natin tong icon natin to, itong UV sync selection. So, let's just click that. Ayan, there we go. That is it. Para makita natin. Ang gagawin na lang natin is, hanapin natin tong part natin dito, no? So, or pwede natin i-scale up na lang natin para ma-fix natin yung current problem natin dito. But again, this one right here, itong part natin dito, this one, ano ba itong part na to? This one here, this one here, this one here. This one, medyo ano na to, medyo bare bones na to eh. So, kailangan lang natin ayusin to. So, this one right here. Oh, wait, ito ba yun? Ayusin lang natin. Nope. Well, talaga hindi natin maiwasan. Kaya ito rin ang ayaw ko kay Blender eh. Wala tayong sort of powerful tool na ganito. Sobrang, ano tayo dito? Mano-mano tayo dito. Mano-mano natin aayusin to. But, don't worry naman guys, no? It doesn't really matter rin naman na hindi nyo ma-fix to. Bakit? No? Because, when you're going to be rendering this, no? You're of course going to think on the angle of your camera. No? Wala pa lang akong camera. Teka, gawa lang ng camera. So, camera. Wala akong camera. Okay? So, I'm gonna do that. Like I said, guys, no, you're gonna have to think on the angle then. So, it doesn't really matter then kung hindi nyo siya ma-fix, no? Because, kung hindi naman siya makikita dun sa angle nyo, dun sa camera nyo, for example, sa instance na to, no? Sobrang zoom out yung camera angle ko dito. Hindi naman siya makikita. That's okay, no? That's completely okay. That's one of the secrets din sa 3D design, ano? Talagang ganun talaga minsan, no? So, yan. So, let me just do this. Okay? So, yan. There we go. Hindi nyo naman siya manonotice, di ba? Kapag naka-zoom out tayo, dito, kailangan lang natin to. Yan, wrap lang. So, then Smart UV Project, then boom. Okay na. Ayan, notice, it's almost fixed naman na, no? So, barely noticeable naman siya sa, current na camera angle natin. Yung alam natin, may problema siya dito, no? Pero barely noticeable naman siya when we try to angle our scene naman na, no? We'll try to render this. Barely noticeable siya. Hindi nyo naman siya makikita. So, yun ang mga tricks lang for that one, no? Okay? Blender supremacy. Yeah, sure. Di naman ako sa bias, but yeah, I think, yeah, sooner or later naman, madadagdag naman kay Blender yan, yung UVW map. But yeah, currently, si UVW map modifiers, exclusive lang siya kay Autodesk products, no? Kay 3ds Max, kay Maya, and kay Modbox, no? Wala pa kay Blender. Wala pa. Not yet, no? Magkakaroon din yan, for sure. But yeah, that is basically it, no? That is basically it for our discussion. Okay? Now, itong part natin dito, siguro, discuss ko na ba ngayon? Should I? Well, nasa na lang siguro, face-to-face na lang sa next meeting na. Face-to-face meeting ko na lang to discuss. On how to basically do this, no? This one's actually pretty easy. And there we go. So, notice nyo dyan, meron lang dinagdag na thing dito na sarili ko lang ginawa. Tapos may mga change lang ako. Then, yep. Alright. So, are we clear so far, guys? Wala na tayong tanong? Gets ba naman na?
Sir,
Yes?
sa halimbawa po kung saan po naka-save yung textures na file, dapat rin po ba hindi siya magagalaw? Like, hindi siya
Yes.
ang location?
Yes, yan ang nalimutan ko, no? So, when you're going to be saving your textures, no? When you're downloading your textures, guys, like I said from the beginning of the term, no? Yung when we're discussing how do we set up our scenes, no? Sinabi ko rin, dictate ko rin kung ano yung mga kailangan yung gawin when it comes to setup, no? Sa paggawa ng mga project folder. Always work with a project folder, guys, no? So as you can see already here sa pinag-open ko dito kanina, something, ayan, ito. So yan, perfect example dito. So I have my assets here, I have my images here, dito yung mga references ko, yung textures ko, UV maps, etc., etc. Itong render data, this is where I put my renders, and then yung scenes, yung mga files ko. So always work with a project folder, guys. Trust me, guys. No, lalo na sa pag-textures natin, because see what happens here, no? See what happens sa textures ko. Ano ba yung ito? This part right here. Let's say, pini-minimize. Ay, naman ako. Teka. Let's say, itong part na to, nilagay ko somewhere dito. And then, ito currently, ayan, no? It's sa 3ds Max pa lang. Ito, nawala. Nagkaroon ng pop-up kagad dito. Max, bitmap number 38 has empty file name. Ibig sabihin, nawawala na siya, no? Nawawala na siya. So, that's one warning na kay 3ds Max, no? So, yan ang mangyayari kapag misplace nyo yung textures nyo for 3ds Max. Now, kay Blender, currently, nandito pa rin siya, no? So, try natin, let's try to remedy that, shall we? So, let me just open this again. I'm just gonna open this again, no? Yan. Notice nyo, nung ni-refresh ko na siya, dahil tinanggal ko itong color ko dito. Notice nyo kanina, nandito pa siya, no? Pero ang pagbalik ko, bakit naging pink? Why is everything pink, no? Kasi notice nyo kanina, di ba? Nandito na pasama dito yung lahat ng textures ko, no? Yung texture na yon. So that means, if you see something pink, unless na talagang ginawa nyo siyang pink yung kulay na yon, okay lang yun. But kung hindi nyo naman ginawang pink yung object na yon, and then you see this, doon na kayo matakot, no? Kasi ibig sabihin, may nawawala kayong textures, no? Specifically, yung nasa base color nyo. Ito yung kinukuha pa rin niya, pero since dahil tinanggal ko yung base color ko dito, from my original na folder kung saan ko siya kinuha, naging pink yung scene ko. Ibig sabihin, may nawawala sa scene ko. Okay?
Kapag ibabalik po ba siya, mababalik naman din po ba yun sa dati?
Pwede, pag binalik naman natin siya sa dati, babalik naman siya sa dati, no? So, again, ani ko lang to. So, ayan, nandun pa rin siya. So, just select it back again. Ayun, okay naman na siya, no? So, kapag ganon, let's say, kunwari, no? Nag-control tayo, no? So, ayan, nabalik siya to this one, no? So, you have two options here. You either, number one, ibalik nyo kung saan nyo kinuha yung texture na yun, kung saan nyo siya originally kinuha, or number two, you relocate it again, no? So, currently, ito yung kinukuha niya, di ba? So, i-click ko lang tong open image ko, no? Click ko lang yung open image and then hanapin ko lang ulit. Okay? Kung dito sa shader naman, sa shader editor, sa shader graph ko, definitely ganun din, no? So, click ko lang rin to, no? So, sa base color ko, and then, yun, click ko lang yun, and then hanapin ko lang ulit. And then, kapag nahanap mo na, and then mas na confirm mo na yun, okay na yun. No? Open image mo lang ulit. And then, you're good to go. Okay? Are we clear so far, guys?
Sir, last na tanong na po.
Yes, another question?
Medyo bobo po na tanong. Pero yung sa ano po kasi, di ko po maintindihan yung sa GPU and CPU, yung sinasabi niyo kapag re-render po. Hindi ko po gets ko ano po yung pinagkaiba ng dalawa.
Okay. So, kung CPU, actually wala naman siya halos pinagkakaiba eh. Kasi CPU natin, that is your internal computer, no? Yung ginagamit niya yung lahat ng data na ano natin. Kasi 'di ba, Control Alt Delete tayo, no? So if you're working with Task Manager, no? Sa Windows may Task Manager tayo. So mano-notice natin, if we decide to run with CPU, wait, nawala yung Task Manager. Where is my Task Manager? Ayan. Okay. So remember here, no? So dito sa natin, task manager natin, meron tayong CPU, meron tayong memory. No, dito sa memory, diyan si GPU, no? Diyan siya nagro-run, no? Sa memory. Si CPU, yan yung internal na memory natin. Kung ano yung pre-built na ano natin kay CPU, no? Kasi si GPU, na-upgrade natin yan. Naiiba natin yung graphics card natin, no? Pwede natin gawin 1060, pwede natin gawin 3090 kung meron man, or kung gusto nyo, 4090 yung pinakabago. So, yun. Pwede natin gawin yon. Now, yung mga GPU natin na yon, yun yung ano natin. Kapag higher quality yung GPU nyo, higher yung data na binibigyan ng GPU nyo, let's say, for example, yung NVIDIA GeForce GTX 3090 or yung 4090 natin ngayon, yung mga GPU na yon, now those are higher quality na, yun yung talagang malalakas in terms of performance, no? So, basically, kaya nila mag-handle ng higher data processings, no? So yung higher data processing na yun yung sa case natin dito, yung render natin. So dito sa GPU compute natin, kapag nilagay natin sa GPU compute, instead na internal sa computer mo yung gagamitin niya, internal data niya, gagamitin niya yung data from the GPU. Kasi notice nyo, di ba? Sa mga graphics card natin, meron tayong 6GB, mga 8GB, etc. No, kasama dun sa graphics card natin. Yun yung gagamitin niya na data to basically process our data. So yun yung pagkakaiba ng CPU and GPU. Regardless naman, pareho lang rin naman siya. Kung walang GPU yung computer nyo, that's okay. Pwede rin naman stick kayo sa CPU, no? Pero in terms of Blender, of course, kung may GPU kayo, same case din naman sa 3ds Max, kung may GPU kayo, of course, make use of your GPU. Kasi kapag syempre, over time, kapag CPU yung ginagamit nyo, okay rin naman, pero over time, syempre, magde-degrade din yung overall computer nyo. Overtime naman yun, no? Di naman yung overtime na yun na like in 1 week, bigla nang bumagal na yung buong computer ko. Hindi naman ganun. Yung what I mean is yung overall na lifespan ng computer nyo. Baba. Hindi naman greatly, minimal lang naman, Pero kung GPU, that's still okay naman, Much better pa rin kung may graphics card computer nyo, make use of your graphics card or your GPU, no? So ayan, use GPU compute device for rendering, blah blah blah. Ayan. So Those are the difference between the two. TLDR, in terms of rendering, they're literally just the same. Overall sa render time lang natin yan. Sa render time natin yan. So when it comes to render time naman, hindi ko pa na-discuss kung sa 3ds Max, di natin may iwasan talaga to eh. Di natin may iwasan yung render time natin. Sadly, unfortunately. So sa 3ds Max, wait at dito. Punta ulit tayo sa render settings, So sa render settings, if you're using a GPU, then okay, that's fine, that's good. So, but like let's say, kasi ang pinaka-important na natin, factor to take note of when you're basically rendering na is yung sample count natin. So yung sample count natin basically determines the quality of your render. So your sample count, the higher your sample count, the higher the quality your render is. But sometimes yun din yung nagpapasira sa buong scene mo. Kasi yung sample count natin, kapag tinaasan natin yung sample count natin, tapos yung resolution mo, like let's say 1080, 1920 by 1080, tapos tinasa mo pa yung sample count mo, talagang matagal ang render time mo yan. Possible, magte-take yan hours, Hours, yan, Plural. So, but then again, that depends din naman sa computer nyo, Kung 1060, what I'm currently using dito sa sa personal computer ko dito, kung 1060 yan, kung like let's say 1920 by 1080, tapos sample count nyo sa 3ds Max is just yung default na 3, that should take around like 3 minutes for me, 2 to 3 minutes, depending sa number of lights sa scene ko, Yung 2 to 3 minutes na yun, that should take like, that should have like a fully well-lit scene na. So, ko dito? Yung reference ko dito, this one took like 2 to 3 minutes, So it's properly illuminated naman. This just uses 3 light sources. So this one is just for more on the nighttime vibes lang, So this took around like 2 to 3 minutes lang. But if you're using like a 3090, if you're using a 3090 or a 3880, in my case, this is a studio computer ko, that should take like less than 30 seconds, So that entirely depends din talaga sa overall computer nyo. Another thing then to basically reduce your render time na para hindi rin maglo-lower ng quality is to basically close everything out. Close nyo everything lahat ng hindi nyo ginagamit. Dito kayo, punta kayo sa task manager nyo, mag-exit kayo ng mga mga programs na hindi nyo na currently nagra-run, na hindi nyo naman kailangan magamit. Like for example, it's sa case ko, ang dami ko mga naka-open, So pwede kong i-off ko muna yung Discord, off ko yung wallpaper engine ko, off ko yung itong ExpressVPN ko, turn off ko yung Steam ko, turn off ko yung sa Blizzard ko, etc., etc., So just turn everything off na hindi nyo naman kailangan gamitin, So just solely focus on rendering. So basically, computer nyo lang, magre-render lang, yun lang ginagawa niya. Render lang kayo ng render, So that's about it, Tapos siyempre, of course, sa software nyo, since render lang tayo also, to basically lessen din yung time ng nyo, pag-render time nyo, i-close nyo rin yung mga unnecessary window nyo dito sa 3ds Max, So sa 3ds Max, usually, baka mamaya malimutan nyo, naka-on pala yung nyo, yung render setup nyo, tapos naka-on yung material editor, close out nyo, and then open nyo lang tong Arnold render view nyo, and then just let it render, And then once everything's rendered, malalaman nyo naman kapag tapos na yung render niyan. Kasi dito sa render view natin, if I try to render this, continue ko lang. So, tayo ko lang. Okay. So, dito, So, ayan, notice nyo. Dito, instead the pink, red naman dito kay 3ds Max, So, everything is, di ba? So, dito notice nyo naman kapag tapos na ito, may loading bar tayo dito, May percentage tayo dyan, So, once nawala na itong progress bar nyo, that means it's completely good na, Your render is done. And then itong icon natin dito, instead na stop, naging play na lang siya. Ibig sabihin, na siya, fully rendered na siya, So, yun na yung process niya, So, yan, technically ganyan, So, 24%, 25%. This usually is just gonna take me like 2 to 3 minutes, tops. So, yan. That is how you lessen your render time, Sa Blender, again, guys, I can't stress it enough, So, itong kapag cycles kayo, guys, you do not need that 4096. God, guys, please don't attempt that. Lalo na kung average lang yung computer nyo, Kapag ginawa niyo yun, definitely magka-crash yung computer niyo, no? So, again, like I said, 50 to 250, no? So, yun lang yung range na kailangan nyo, no? Usually, 50, that's more than enough. And then, turn on nyo lang tong denoise, napakalinis na ng render nyo. Now, compare natin dito kay 3ds Max, ayan, no? Medyo slightly noisy pa. Yung noise pala, guys, is, nanonotice nyo sa mga film, no? Sa mga movies, you're going to see like film grain, no? Yung parang dot sa ano natin, sa mga scenes, di ba? Those are film grain. Or, in technical terms, ang tawag natin doon is noise, no? Or yung ang tawag doon, white noise natin. So yung noise na yon, syempre if you want a cleaner render, you can do a denoise. Sadly sa 3ds Max, the only way to basically remove noise is to increase your sample count, no? So to increase yung sample count, again, balik tayo dun sa render settings, di ba? So dun sa render settings tayo, punta tayo sa Arnold Renderer, and then increase nyo to. But like I said, kapag tinaasan natin yung sample count, dadagdag yung render time natin, no? So yan. Okay, nagano pala, nag-ulit tong render ko kasi ginalaw ko yung render settings ko, no? So yan. So make sure guys, do not do anything else when you're going to be rendering. Lalo na sa software nyo, don't just basically click anything. Lalo na if you're working with Arnold Render View, guys, no? Kapag magre-render na kayo, wala na kayong gagawin, no? Just do anything else. Maglaro kayo sa consoles nyo or magpahinga kayo. Let your computer, let your software render your scene, no? Wag niyong galawin yan, no? So, yeah. Gagalawin niyo lang yan kapag may nalimutan kayo, but kung wala naman na kayo nalilimutan, just let it render, no? Let it render. Okay? Whew. Okay, so is there everything? Ako, nag-render aborted pala kasi kulang yung textures ko. So that's okay. All right. So any questions, guys? Any
None po.
questions? None so far. Okay. So discuss na natin si activity 6, interior rendering, no? So activity 6, guys, you cannot do activity 6 without completing activity 4 and activity 5 first, no? I'll be grading them later na. So you have to do activity 4 and activity 5 first because instructions dito, create an interior design using your created furnishings, no? Diba, sa activity 4, pinagawa ko kayo ng chair, tsaka a furniture of your own choosing. And then sa activity 5, kung may refinements kayo dun sa activity 4 nyo, ilagay nyo rin. Tapos pinagagawa ko rin kayo ng additional furnishings to be used for your activity 6, no? Sinabi ko na yan last meeting, no? So that is your requirement before doing activity 6. You must create and accomplish activity 4 and activity 5 first. Okay? So yon, create kayo ng interior design using those furnishings, no? So gagawa na rin kayo na, of course, ng room nyo, no? Kasi interior, di ba? So next, apply basic UVW maps / textures to your scene as well as appropriate lighting that will suit your concept. Now, itong basic UVW maps and textures na to, I'm not requiring you na lahat kailangan super high quality textures, no? That entirely depends on your entire scene, no? Like for example, kung gusto nyo cartoonish yung yung scene nyo, you can maybe stick with base colors, no? Kasi cartoonish, di ba? Like for example, sa Simpsons, no? Pwede nyo gawin yon. Kung gusto nyo photorealistic, you want to try your hand on photorealism, pwede kayong, syempre, of course, makes sense na you have to use high quality textures, no? You're gonna download from the internet, no? So, you're basically going to texture your interior design, no? Ita-texture nyo yung mga furnitures nyo, yung room nyo, no? Yung interior room nyo pala, no? So, you're gonna do that. And then, once you've finished your texturing, once you finish your lighting, no? And then once you've settled on your angle, you are going to render your scene with either the following sizes. So 1280 by 720 is the minimum, and then 1920 by 1080 is the maximum. So either of the two resolutions lang. So either 720 or 1080p, no? So yeah. And then once you've submitted your render, once you've completed your render, you're going to save it. Save it as a JPEG or a PNG, depending kung tawag doon. gusto nyo makita yung background, I mean, guys, you're doing an interior, no? So pretty zoom in yung angle nyo. So PNG tayo, no? So submit your rendered scene with the file name surname underscore act6 rendering. So image format tayo for for your activity 6, no? So your rendered scene na. No? So you're rendering na. Okay? So again, ito yung peg ko right here, no? So there we go. That is my peg for this activity. Another peg na ipapakita ko rin na isa ring ginawa ng sa estudyante ko. I think that by far the most unique na interior room na nakita ko is this one. So yung theme ng interior niya dito is tryptophobia. So yung activity 4 niya, this one right here. This is her chair, no? This is her chair right here. Itong parang plant-based na whatever, Venus flytrap or whatever. And then ito naman yung tawag doon, yung furniture of her own choosing, which is a tawag doon, a table, no? So, and there we go. Kasi yung activity 5 niya, gumawa siya ng mga additional assets, no? Gumawa siya ng bookshelf dito, gumawa din siya ng mga additional na footstool. Itong bee na footstool, wasp na footstool. And then ginawa na rin niya yung, of course, yung interior niya, no? Gumamit siya ng booleans dito din sa sa door niya to basically make this okay, tryptophobic na tawag doon na door, and then tryptophobic na honeycomb na floor, no? So that is what she did, no? So yeah, hindi ko na mahanap yung render niya, but yeah, and then also gumawa rin siya ng lamp dito, no? Sir, polymodeling lang po yan. Yes, you did polymodel everything, no? And just like you guys, beginner lang rin siya, no? So I'm really surprised dito. May talent talaga siya, no? May talent talaga siya dito, and she really did love 3D modeling din, no? So, of course, yan. Marami din dito, no? Marami din ng mga nakikita natin. Actually, compared dito from her class, dito, almost lahat kayo, no? May kayo. Meron kayong talent for this one. I'm actually really, really surprised yung quality ng ginagawa niyo currently ngayon. It's already above what this previous class did before, no? Sa previous class ko noon. Already surpassed niyo sila, no? So yeah, it's already really, really good, no? So yeah, polymodel lahat yan. So yeah, that is your activity 6, no? Interior rendering, no? Any questions, guys? Pahaba yung natin, discussion natin, almost, oh God, 3 hours. 3 hours pala yung naging discussion natin. Jeez. Okay, so I think that is the end for today's meeting. Holy shit, akala ko less than 2 hours lang ako. Okay, napahaba kasi nagpahaba yung sa 3ds Max but that's okay. So there we go. That is the end ng natin. Before I end, guys, meron pa kayong other questions before I end this meeting? Any other questions? None naman. Wala bang questions regarding sa finals? No? Wala bang may questions regarding that? None so
Sir?
far. Yes.
I have a question po pala. Yung pitch po namin, for next week na po yun, right?
Yep, next week na. So, yung flow natin when it comes to presenting, like I said, guys, one-on-one lang tayo, no? One-on-one lang tayo, lalapit lang kayo sa akin, or gusto nyo ako lumapit sa inyo, tingnan lang natin, no? So, once na, you're just going to present how you usually present, and then explain everything as is, make me understand on what you want to do, and then after that, of course, I'm going to give my thoughts, then sasabihin ko sa inyo kung ano yung mga kailangan yung gawin dito, kung ano yung kailangan yung i-prepare before you actually make your finals, no? And then, of course, I'm going to say, and then, of course, sasabihin ko rin na, syempre, tutulungan ko kayo kung kailangan nyo ng tulong, no? So, sabihin nyo lang sa akin, huwag kayong mahiya, no? So, ganun ang ginagawa ko sa mga finals nyo, no? Kasi yun ang gusto kong dina-develop nyo din, to basically have the initiative to ask, no, on how do you do things, kasi yun ang pinaka-important, no, to learn from someone else then, no? So okay, so any other questions? None? Okay, so kung wala nang questions so far, guys, and then kung after this class if you had other questions, just send me a chat sa Discord, and then I'll answer it, no? As for your activities prior, I'll be grading them later. And then as for this recording, I'll be I'll be posting it sa Big Sky as always. No? So until next week na tayo. Next week is face-to-face. So I'll see you all by then. So, yan. Okay. Goodbye, guys. Dismissed.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.